Well, well, well. It has still been pretty quiet out there on I guess they're calling it the post free agency or the second weekend free agency or whatever this is we're calling it. Man, it is pretty quiet out there. But nevertheless, there are still little nuggets of things to talk about as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. And again, I know, man, we got to be excited about the Dallas Cowboys and some of the things they've done in free agency, but we're all anticipating a little bit more, and we're also anticipating an absolute great draft. But I'm also wondering, with everything that we're anticipating, are the Cowboys front office and are the Cowboys fans, are we putting way too much hype into Christian Parker? I mean, it's his first year. We don't know what he's going to be. But everybody seems to be talking about Christian Parker's system and what it's going to do and what and who doesn't fit. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Hey, let's go. Let's go. It is time once again to talk Dallas Cowboys. We got a great show today. Are y'all ready? Let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot more things and a lot of great things coming up in this brand new season. Now let's talk facts. So we got cut off the other day. I don't know, it was something going on over here in the DFW area, but we got cut off and I couldn't even resume. We got cut off for quite a minute. But nevertheless, we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish yesterday's show because yesterday's show is still relevant today. And so we got a lot of great things we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna open it up with what I just mentioned and the title of this live stream. So, we talked about how much better are we yesterday, and we're gonna continue that conversation later on into the stream. But we're gonna open this up with "In Christian Parker We Trust." Then we're gonna go to the free agency signees today. We didn't get a chance to do that yesterday. There are some of the free agent signees. We're gonna hear the interviews from them over on DallasCowboys.com. Then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna psychoanalyze the Jerry Jones interview from the Grand Prix at Arlington. And man, after I went back and listened to that interview again, boy, Jerry Jones was straight clowning in that interview with the very few statements that he made. So we're gonna check that out. Then we're gonna listen to a video, listen to an interview. I'm not sure who the person is, but they're talking about the Cowboys' free agency problems. I talked about this yesterday. The Cowboys, they seem to do very well when it comes to re-signing their players. They seem to do really well when it comes to trades per se. But I think where the Cowboys suffer bad in free agency. And I'm going to tell you why I believe the Cowboys suffer bad in free agency. And we're also going to listen to what they talk about as it applies to the Cowboys in free agency. Then after that, we got a bunch of quick hits. We're going to look at the top 10 rosters they're saying in the NFL, top 10 backup quarterbacks in the NFL. We're going to look at how the Cowboys did this pay cut with Rashawn Gary, and it's going to prove my point about how good the Cowboys are with trades. And then I think we got another player we're going to talk about in there, and then we're going to talk about another topic, another quick hit of get your money. But this is the majority of what we're going to be talking about. In Christian Parker We Trust, free agency signing interview, Jerry Jones interview, Cowboys free agency problems, top 10 rosters, top 10 backup quarterbacks, Gary pay cut, get your money. Let's get it. Hey, that's that. Hey, we're going to be doing that Quentin Williams every time he get a sack. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboys. All right. Let's get this quick roll call, and then we're going to get this show on the road for the day. Big Moss Dog. What else going on, Big Moss Dog? Hey, Dominique Pittman, what's going on? He say, so I'm trying to imitate, but they will never be. It's always live when we're listening to the G. Come on with it. Let's go. Lord Nova, 85, what's going on, Lord Nova? Lynn from the 903, what up? Dak owns in this thing. Big Moss Dog again. Hey, Bump, TY5X, what's going on from the 903? My sister, the Queen. Salute, Queen, as always. What's going on, my sister? Frank Lawrence is in here. Frank Lawrence, what's up? I appreciate the support of you and your wife. What's going on? Freddie Morales, El Chuco in the building. What's going on, El Chuco? It is More Eddie. What's up, More Eddie? Blue Blood in the crib. What is going on? Loves Beauty 41. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Dak owns. He said, welcome to Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Come in, hit the like button, and let your opinion be heard. Also, please keep the chat clean. Let's go. Mike McCain, what's going on, Mike McCain? Blake Strange, what up? Marcus Moncherio in the building, what's going on? John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I'll tell you every single time. It is a New Jack City. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. 72 Chevelle, he just pulled up in the 72 Chevelle. What's going on? It's Mike Smooth. Mike Smooth, what's up? What's up, Mike Smooth? Hey, Marcus, man, something was going on with the internet over here in DFW. I can't ever call it, man. Viking for life, what's going on? Dallas will win 8 games this year. Hey, that's still be an improvement, won't it? Hey, Vikings for life. Boy, let me tell you something. I don't know if you've been watching. Boy, they have been clouding y'all with this Kyler Murray, with the Kyler Murray memes. Been clouding y'all, boy. Clouding y'all with that Kyler Murray memes. Crazy. Crazy. All right. And I don't even know if you're a Vikings fan. It just says Vikings for life. But welcome to the chat today. All right. What's going on? Lynn said G. Okay, hold on. I'm going to come back to what you said there, Lynn. Chris, Dunaway, what's up? You and True Texan, what's going on? Carl Williams is up in here. What's going on? Carl Williams, good to see you. All right, let's get this thing going. Carl Young. Frank Lawrence, appreciate that super chat. Frank Lawrence said, we can blame Eberflus. Horrific defensive players. I dump GM owner who won't sign up anyone who won't lay down for a team-friendly deal unless they're injured. Make a great point. Hallelujah. What's going on? All right. Good to see everybody today. All right. Let's give yourselves hands. It's the best chat on YouTube. All right. So let's hit this first subject matter, and then it'll catapult us into everything that we're going to talk about here going forward. But one of the things that I'm noticing, that people are really hyping up Christian Parker. And he seems to be a very confident individual. And I don't think he's going to fold to the pressure of the hype that is surrounding him. He's probably feeling pretty good right now. But what I caution us on is, if we are truly going to be successful, we still have to get Christian Parker the players. We still have to get Christian Parker the players. And I'm realizing something after listening to the Jerry Jones interview. And I didn't mention this in the video that I just released, but we're going to talk about it here today. But I can almost hear in Jerry Jones's voice that it's like Jerry is saying that we already have some good pieces. And I agree. We have some good pieces. Let's look at this real quick. I do believe that Jerry is saying, hey, we got some good pieces. Some of those pieces were injured last year, but some of those pieces, they didn't live up to their potential because of Matt Eberflus. And so when you look at the Cowboys, let me see here. Hold on, wrong one. I'll get it here in just a second. But when you go to the Cowboys roster, for example, and you can just name some of these people without even looking at the roster. Jerry believes in Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, and we should too. I mean, we solved our defensive tackle situation up the middle, but then we went and got rid of Osa Odigizua. So we're going to need another defensive tackle. Even though we brought the guy in from the Chargers, we'll look at him today. But the key to this 3-4 defense also are the linebackers. And I'll be honest with you. Everybody keeps talking about what fits Christian Parker's system. I mean, like they've actually seen it in action. How do we know what Christian Parker's system is? Stephen Jones has already said Christian Parker has some ideas of his own. We have no clue what Christian Parker's system is in the grand scheme of things. He told us he wants to run a 3-4. He wants to run a 4-2-5. He wants to run a 5-2. Okay, he's told us those things. But he's also from the Vic Fangio school of thought. So we're going to see a jambalaya of Vic Fangio, Christian Parker, 4-2-5, 3-4, even some 4-3, and some 5-2. We're going to see all of this. So I get a little bit confused sometimes when people start saying, yeah, because that didn't fit Christian Parker's system. How do you know it didn't fit Christian Parker's system? One of the things that I talked about today on X, we have to understand, no matter what Christian Parker's philosophy is, no matter what his scheme is, he is still operating within the construct of Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, and the Cowboys system of doing things. Bottom line. Bottom line. And Viking for life. They're not going to let Christian Parker do the entire draft. And I'll be honest with you, Christian Parker hasn't done enough to deserve to do an entire draft for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I just don't understand. I understand it, but I don't understand it because sometimes we just want somebody to hand the keys over. When in actuality, the Cowboys have been letting the coaches have influence in what they're doing in the draft. And that's one of the reasons why under Mike McCarthy, the drafts were terrible. The entire 2021 draft class is gone. Some of those drafts were, last year was really the first good draft we had in a while. And we still don't know if that draft is going to materialize. So far, Tyler Booker is the only one out of last year's draft that we truly know is a pure dog. He's the only one that we know of. Savon Revel Jr., yet to be seen. Donovan Ezeraku got injured. Didn't do half of what we thought he was going to do, as in sacking the quarterback. Shamar James, still yet to be seen. Got a lot of promise, but got a long way to go. Jay Toya, I don't even know what's going on with the Jay Toya issue. Jaden Blue. We got Jaden Blue. Didn't even play him. Just dogged him out the whole season. Got Phil Maffa. I guess he got hurt again or something. We didn't even see Phil Maffa the entire season. So we had another draft to where we don't even know what it is. And I guarantee you, the coaches had something to do with those players being drafted. Jerry Jones is not drafting. Jerry Jones isn't drafting players, people. Jerry Jones isn't drafting players as in these are the players I want to draft. Jerry Jones isn't doing it. Jerry Jones is getting that information from Will McClay. Will McClay has made it clear to us, and he's going to tell us the same thing this year. Will McClay said he goes to the coaches and he asked them what are they looking for. And then his scouting team, they go out and they find what they're looking for and they bring players to the group and they decide on those players. Christian Parker hasn't done enough at this point. I mean, he was just the defensive back coach in his last 2 stops. You don't let the defensive back coach just walk right into the building and say, we're going to let you do the whole draft. No, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. The draft is a collection of people doing things. It's the head coach, because the head coach has a vision that he also has. So it's going to be the head coach. It's going to be the entire front office, Will McClay and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. But I'm saying all that to say Christian Parker is still working inside of a framework of how the Cowboys do business. And I know full well that Christian Parker needs linebackers. Christian Parker knows that he needs linebackers. And the Cowboys, they just didn't quite deliver on linebackers. And we're going to talk about that as we get further into the show about free agency. Because one of the issues with the Cowboys, they don't do well in free agency. They don't do well. Because the Cowboys don't go into free agency understanding what free agency is. The reality of free agency is you don't go into free agency looking for a deal. You go into free agency looking for a player. You are looking for high impact players that make an immediate difference on your team. And you already know when you go into free agency, if you're going to play on the first day and the second day and the official first day, which is the third day, no, you're paying for players. Period. You're paying for players. And you're going to overpay for some of those players. And I'm not jiving with people who are saying, well, I'm glad the Cowboys didn't overpay. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not glad that they didn't overpay. I believe that in free agency, there ought to be one player that you're willing to overpay for. Bottom line, one player. Put your sights on one player, not a bunch, one player, and you say, this is a high impact player. We normally wouldn't pay that much. But because this is the opportunity where you get such a player, then we're going to get that player and we're going to overpay for that player. Not because we want to overpay for that player, but because we know that that player is an impact player and that player is going to help us win. So we want that one player. We don't go into free agency like that. They mentioned something today that I thought was absolutely incredible. This year, in particular, since they've been tracking the, what do they call it? The legal tampering period. And then when the free agents go, the top 100 free agents go off the board. I don't know if y'all heard this or not. Do you know they set a record this year for how fast the top 100 free agents went off the board? They flew off the board. They flew off the board. You didn't have an opportunity to circle the block and go back on free agents. They flew off the board. That by time Wednesday hit, the majority of the top 100 free agents, they're gone. Teams were not playing this year. There is a scramble by all of these teams, not just the Cowboys. There is a scramble by all of these teams. They want to go to the Super Bowl. And they want to go bad, especially after watching the New England Patriots. You just never know what kind of schedule you're going to get. They probably had the easiest schedule ever in NFL history. You never know what kind of schedule you're going to get. This is why teams, they went and they ran the free agency and they scooped those players up. And I'm not believing, people are like, oh, yeah, well, if they fit the Christian Parker system. I'm sorry, but Christian Parker said himself, the good players can play in multiple formations because that's what we're looking for. Players who can play in the 3-4, the 4-3, the 5-2, the base 4, the 4-2-5. They're looking for players that can play inside of all 4 of those formations. They're not looking to be a heavily rotational team. They want base players that they don't have to be substituting in and out. Man, this edge rusher by committee, pass rusher by committee, this by committee, fill in the blank, man, it does not work. You got to have a core group of individuals that you can depend on first, second, third down, and even fourth down. You got to have a core group of individuals that can play 65, 70 snaps a game. You got to have that core group of individuals. And I am not buying that all of these linebackers that the Cowboys missed out on, they didn't fit the Christian Parker system. I'm not buying that kind of conversation. And I'm saying all of this to say that it seems like that we and the Joneses have so much trust in Christian Parker that if it's just what we did in free agency and the players that are going to be healthy this year finally, and what they do in the draft, as if that may be enough. And you may be saying, no, they're going to do this, that, and the other. Okay. I'm going to let you hear Jerry Jones, in his own words, say something similar to what I just said. Me and Dominique Pittman, we've been kind of having this conversation, and some of us have been having this conversation too. And we've been kind of laughing about it. But we were like, well, if the Cowboys would have even had a mid-pack defense last year, they would have been in the playoffs. Y'all remember that? Well, y'all might not be realizing something. Do y'all realize that Jerry Jones actually made a similar statement? And I don't think people realize Jerry Jones made that similar statement. You know, it's okay for me to make that statement, I feel, and it's okay for us to make that statement. But I don't want the goal for the Cowboys to be a mid-pack defense. I don't want the goal for them to say, okay, we got you good enough players, Christian Parker. I want the Cowboys to say, we want Christian Parker to be as successful as he can be. So let's go out and get him within our ability, our power, the cap, the draft, and free agency. Let's go out here and get Christian Parker the players that will help him to be as successful as he can the first season, and he will have as much success as we believe he can have because we believe in him as a coach. And some people, oh, yeah, Cowboy fans are complaining. No, it's not about Cowboy fans complaining. It's about Cowboys fans who want to go to the Super Bowl and who are just not content with this is enough. It's not about complaining. It's about checking the progress on the process. I started saying this last week because people say, oh, trust the process. Somebody give me a reason to trust the process for the Cowboys. Give me a reason. I'm not saying that in a negative way. Just give me the reason to check. Give me a reason to trust the process. Because somebody in the chat can give me 31 reasons not to trust any process the Cowboys have had. I choose to believe that the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl this year and no later than 2027. But that is also predicated upon Cowboys. They need a little bit more. They need a little bit more. And they don't need to just go into the draft. I keep hearing people say, oh, we still got the draft coming up. Hold on a second. This is the mistake we keep making. We went out there and did some things in free agency. And now you're telling me that we're going to bring in rookies. And now we're wanting rookies to be we want the rookies to be the impact players. We want the rookies to be the thing that pushes us over the top to go to the Super Bowl. Go look at the last few Super Bowl winners. That is not how they did it. The players they got in the draft, they allowed those players to develop, and they brought those players along with other veteran players. They brought them along with great coaching, and they were able to put together a group of guys under a great system, great coaching, young guys, middle-aged guys, older guys, hit the ground running. We need more. And if we can, we need to get more. I'm not beating the table for Max Crosby. But what I am saying is that there are other players out there. There are other players out there that you can still go out there and get and put on this team and help the transition for Christian Parker from defensive back coach to defensive coordinator. That can help him in the transition from defensive back coach to defensive coordinator and play caller. Help him also in the transition from all these other teams to the Dallas Cowboys and what Matt Eberflus did last year, and really transition him and put him in a position to win. All I'm saying is I am praying for the Cowboys to give Christian Parker more. Give him more. Don't let it be enough as far as what we've done in free agency. We've been pretty quiet. It's only Tuesday. We've been pretty quiet. But I'm praying that there is more. Because we are putting a lot of trust into, we already got some pretty good players. We did a little bit in free agency. The draft is coming. And Christian Parker, who is going to come in here in Christian Parker, we trust. He's so good that he's going to whip this whole defense into shape. He's going to get every single position group into shape. His coaching staff, they're going to gel, and they're going to be in sync. And we're going to go from the last defense in the league, and we're going to go straight to number 13 or 14. Okay, hold on a second. One step at a time. One step at a time. And the step that I don't want us to skip over with Christian Parker is the player part. It's the players. Christian Parker has stated this. You need players. And you not only need players, Christian Parker said you need smart players. Players with a high motor, players who can play at a high level. It's the Joneses' job to get him what he wants and get him what he needs. Star Guardian X said, feel like we will be better by default. No doubt about it. Now, we already talked about better. Yeah, I mean, if I made I saw somebody on X talking about this today. Okay, if I made a 40 on the test last week, okay, I studied and I went to tutorials, and now I made a 60 on my algebra test this week. I'm better than I was last week, but I'm still not passing. I want y'all to understand. Sometimes we're looking within a vacuum. For as good or better as the Cowboys have gotten, I'm looking at other teams in our NFC. And they're getting better too. They're getting better too. And it's not just about us getting better. It's about us getting better, as in better than other teams, and being able to beat the teams we're competing with. Because getting better it's not the only goal. You're not playing against yourself. You got to go out there and play other teams who are out there trying to get better too. Frank Lawrence said we can blame Eberflus, horrific defensive players. He said, I dumped a general manager owner who won't sign up anyone. I read this earlier, I'm going to read it again. Who won't lay down for a team-friendly deal. Yeah, we're going to come back on this, Frank Lawrence. I'm going to revisit this comment you made right here because it's going to play into some things we're going to talk about. Star Guardian X, he said, I feel all the CP hype is because it's been a while since we had a DC with an unbreakable vision. I agree. This year will be better, but give it another year. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the issues about Christian Parker that people is liking, right? He's got a vision. He's got a clear-cut vision. But I also hear him in his vision saying over and over and over, give me the players. Give me the players. If you're listening to him, he's saying it. Yeah, I can do this, and this, but I need the players. It's up to the Joneses to get him the players. Lord Nova, he said, True G, hey, they got to give him the players. Gravedigger said, Jerry talking about Cowboys not playing a lick of defense. Man, let me tell you something. We about to break that down here in just a moment, man. It is so funny when you listen to Jerry. DC 1281, he said, G, you're speaking the truth. I agree with you. They don't understand modern team building. DC, man, let me tell you something, DC 1281. You know what's funny that I'm realizing about the Cowboys front office? It's like they are learning team building again. It's like they're learning it all over again because they actually haven't been doing it. I mean, people say, oh, y'all have been more active in free agency than you've been in so long. You know, and I love that we're giving the Cowboys the credit because I'm giving them credit too. I believe I was one of the first people to say they're moving different. They are moving different, but they're also learning they're learning how to team build. And the free agency part now is the part that I believe the Cowboys are still suffering because they're so reluctant. They're so reluctant in the free agency portion to take the chances that they probably should be taking. They're so reluctant, and they're fighting against it. And you're right, they're fighting against modern team building. And the modern team building, TC 1281, what they're missing is they're still missing the free agency portion. They're still missing it. They're just missing it. Dominique said, funny for him to throw Flus under the bus when he hired him. Yeah. He hired him. Mr. Get Dirty, what's going on? Gravedigger said, it's funny to hear Jerry talking about playing a lick of defense last year, but he was defending Eberflus. Yeah. It's the game. JCT Slice, #1 Dak Prescott fan, said, I trust Christian Parker. I think he's good. With good enough players, he can make our defense scary with Dak, and our wide receivers will still have 4. I agree. All I'm pleading for is that they give him the players. He needs the players because we got to understand something. As much as people are saying, oh, let him pick the players, I got news for you. He didn't pick the players. He didn't pick the players where he was. Anybody think he picked the Green Bay defense? No. Anybody think he picked the Denver defense? No. Anybody think he picked the Philadelphia defense? No. He managed and coached the defensive backs, and he coached them well and has turned them into all-pro defensive backs, Super Bowl winning all-pro defensive backs. But we're talking about an entire defense. We're talking about an entire defense. He's still learning too. I think he's got a great plan, but he's still learning too. And that's why I say, we got to get him the tools. Blue Blood said we have to get him the tools he needs. It ain't nothing but that chip. Yeah, got to get him the tools. Got to get him the tools. All right, so let's go over here to Jerry Jones, and I'll come back and read some more comments in a moment. First, let's listen to the free agent interviews that the Cowboys have already signed. Let's listen to them. And then we're going to come back to the Jerry Jones interview. And then I'm going to let you hear how Jerry Jones not only destroyed Matt Eberflus, but Jerry Jones said some things in there that sounds like some of the things that we've said also in some of our shows. What's going on, Angie? Good to see you. What's going on? Mike T. Sebastian, what's going on? Caitlin, what's going on? All right, let's check out the free agency signings. We'll take a little break from the Christian Parker thing, and then we're going to come back to that as we listen to Jerry Jones. But I didn't get a chance to play these yesterday, but I definitely want to go back and play them today. These Dallas Cowboys signees, there is one of them in particular that I'm really excited about. Now, my favorite of the bunch is Jalen Thompson. I don't know about y'all, but my favorite acquisition, even including Rashawn Gary, my favorite is Jalen Thompson. I mean, we have just been so bad at safety for so long. So long that it is refreshing, man. It is refreshing, ladies and gentlemen, to get a doggone safety in here that can actually play the game. Jalen Thompson, PJ Locke look like he's going to be a beast. And then, man, let me tell you something. Cobie Durant is one of those players where he may not meet the measurables that the Cowboys are used to picking at defensive back, but this dude may turn out to be one of the biggest playmakers for the Cowboys. Now, I'm not sure. We may have listened to him yesterday. Let me make sure. We may have listened to him yesterday, but I don't think we watched the film on him. So let's listen to his interview. I thought he said something pretty key in here, and then we'll watch his tapes, a couple of plays from him from Matty Dubs. Let's check this out.
We're looking to add another dog to that cornerback room, and they did so with Cobie Durant on a one-year deal worth up to $5.5 million. But Cobie, I mean, what does it feel like being now in Dallas?
It's a blessing, just getting a chance to come to Dallas and, add to the secondary and just, a room full of playmakers and just, bring what I know and been in this league for 4 years to add on with Deron Bland and everybody else in that room, just to come in and, make plays.
What?
This young man can play the game. He can play. I believe he's going to be a steal for the Cowboys. He can absolutely play. And what I like about him, it's not the measurables as in how tall he is, how long his arms are, how big his hands are, because that's some of the things that have betrayed the Cowboys. They go in and look at the defensive backs and they want long, lanky, rangy, 6'1", 6'2" cornerback. And I'm not mad at you because that's kind of what I would be looking for too. But sometimes the Cowboys will let that override what they're looking at on the tape. They'll let that override what they're looking at on the tape. But this young man doesn't have these measurables that the Cowboys normally, quote unquote, pick their defensive backs based on. And this leads me to believe, I can't 100% verify this, but Cobie Durant seems like this was Christian Parker saying, get this Cobie Durant kid because I believe he can make plays for us.
Have you had conversations with Christian Parker just yet?
Yeah. I talked with CP, DA, and Smitty earlier, and great guys, great coaches. I'm ready to attack this game and allow them to help me improve and me to push them to push me.
What excites you about joining what CP is trying to do with this defense in Dallas?
Just create takeaways and get the ball back to Dak and let Dak do what he do. I'm excited for it. Like I said,
one of the most powerful statements that he made in the interview. He understands the assignment, y'all. He understands the assignment. Get a turnover. Get the ball back in the hands of the offense. Get it back into the hands of one of the best quarterbacks in the league and let him go do damage. I wish they all thought like this. Boy, I wish they all thought like this man. This man, no, he understands the assignment. And, man, what he has done, especially in the last couple of years, and you look at what he did in the playoffs against the Chicago Bears, he was incredible in that big game. And so I think this is a Christian Parker guy right here. That Christian Parker looked at a guy and said, hey, man, this guy can make plays. Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, I know he don't meet. I know he does not meet your qualifications for long arms, long legs, big hands, jump 9, got a 56-inch vertical, and can write in cursive and calligraphy. I know he don't fit all those things, but he can play the game. And it's obvious that they trusted him, not to mention he didn't cost a whole bunch. I believe he's going to come to the Cowboys, and I think he's going to make himself some serious money. I think he's going to have a great year with the Cowboys. I think he is a player that can make plays. And so I believe he's a Christian Parker guy. I think he's going to do well here.
Great guys in that secondary, and I'm just, here to add on.
You see on tape, obviously, a physical tackler. Talk about, what this Dallas defense is getting from you.
They getting a guy that the media says that's too small, but it ain't all about the size in the dog, it's the size and the heart of the dog. So the land shark coming to make plays and add on to this defense.
You're adding to a room that includes Deron Bland, who led the league in pick sixes a couple of years ago, a young corner, and Savone Rebel as well. I mean, how much are you looking forward to joining that group of guys?
I'm excited. Great group of guys, great instincts, great knowledge for the game, and we just gonna feed off each other and get the ball back to that. That's the main thing.
Physicality, that's a big part of your game. How much pride do you take?
I'm going to tell you what I like about Cobie Durant. I mean, we may take the statement that he make as maybe glazing. The young folks say he glazing Dak. I don't think he's glazing Dak. I think he understands not only the assignment, but it seems like to me, based on what he's saying, it sounds like to me he's a fan of Dak Prescott and Dak Prescott's talent and understanding what Dak Prescott can do. And so he's saying, man, hey, get the ball and get it back in the hands of Dak Prescott and let him do something with it. I think he understands the assignment. I think he understands the assignment. I really, really do. I really do. I think he's going to make plays for the Cowboys. I really do. Yeah, Gravedigger said, listen to what he said. He said, get the ball back to Dak. Yep. Also said it's not all about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the fight inside of the dog. Yes, sir. That's it right there, man. Yeah, and you know what, Blue Blood? Let me tell you something. Blue Blood. So I got 4 sons. Got 4 sons. 3 of them are over 6 feet tall. But I got 1 of them. He's around, I would say 5'9". And man, let me tell you something. Of all 4 of the sons, you want to talk about the one that has the dog in him, Gravedigger? Let me tell you something. Do not mess with my youngest son. Do not mess with my youngest son. Man, we have to hold him back, man. It don't matter what he does. He plays like if he's playing basketball, he can play basketball really good. If he's playing basketball, he thinks he's playing in the NBA championship. Everything he does is a competition. I call it Napoleon syndrome. Everything he does, it's a fight. I don't care if you're playing cards. I don't care if you're playing a video game. I don't care what you're doing. He is ultra competitive. And a lot of these, when you get those guys, man, when they're undersized and they make it to these types of levels or, they make teams, man, they have chips on their shoulder that people just don't understand. I can see why this guy is like he is, because I can imagine his whole life people probably told him he was too small, he can't do this, he can't do that. And his whole life, the only thing he's probably done is prove people wrong. This guy, Cobie Durant, man, I believe he's going to be a player for the Cowboys. I really do. I think he is going to be a player for the Cowboys. Yeah. I think he's going to be a player. I do.
In that,
I take a lot of pride into it because I'm on the smaller spectrum of the.
See his attitude. I'm telling you, man. You gotta watch out when guys when they. It's not like they don't know they're short. It's not like they don't know. In the grand scheme of things, they're probably a little bit undersized. It's not like they don't know this stuff. But they are the main ones who are always trying to prove I'm better than you, even though I'm shorter than you. Man, my son, we had to stop this dude, man. We had to stop my son, Gravedigger. Some dude on the court was acting up, man. Some dude on the court was acting up, man. He like 6'6". Man, he probably outweigh my son by 70 pounds. Man, man, my sons had to get him off the dude, man. I'm just telling you, grave digger, the Napoleon complex is real, bro. It's real. So when you get dudes like this, man, shoot, man, this dude got something to prove. He trying to prove to this entire league he can play.
Of things, and you know, when I go out there, I don't think about it as much. You know, I just be myself, be the land shark, and just go play, make plays.
You've had a chance to see what this Cowboys defense looks like on the opposite side when you played, obviously, against the Cowboys in years past. What kind of stood out to you when you look back at that type of film?
Just guys on field, on film hunting. Everybody playing 11 is 1.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Cowboys.
Yeah. Man, you cannot help but be excited about this dude right here, man. You cannot help but be excited about this dude. I mean, he is exactly what you want in all the players. He's exactly what you want. He got something to prove, man. I love this, that they got this guy. He wants to prove to everybody he belongs in this league. He belongs in this league. I love it. I love it. I think he's going to be great for the Cowboys. All right, let's check out a few more plays from him, from Matty Dubs. Let's check him out. What's going on, Football Fanatic? Let's check out a few more plays from Matty Dubs. Let's check it out.
Made a really solid signing here on day 5 of free agency in Cobie Durant. This is a corner from the Los Angeles Rams. He's been in the league for about 4 years now, 28 years old, only 5'11", but is an absolute dog, right? I mean,
you know, it's crazy to me that they call 5'11" short. Man, this is crazy to me, man. 5'11" is short, man. Come on, man. There's a whole bunch of us short, and 5'11" is short.
Take a look at this. So they're going to be in this cover 2 invert where essentially he's going to be responsible for this half of the field. You got a guy over here. Everyone else is kind of in like this shell of a defense. So you got 2 flats, 2 curls, and then a mid read as well. So take a look at this. As this develops, you kind of see where the coverages are. Now, route concept wise, Jaden Higgins, I believe, is going to be running this corner route to the sideline. Higgins is going to get turned around. He's going to get beat, right? But take a look at what he ends up doing here, right? Gets turned around, gets to where he needs to be, rips the ball out of the man's hands, and comes away with the interception, okay? Absolute dog. When you look at his PFF profile, again, take everything with a grain of salt with PFF. I enjoy what they do, but again, you got to take it with a grain of salt. This past season was graded out as a top 39 corner in football. Now, in my opinion, that's not a bad grade at all because when you think about it, how many corners are on the field at all times? There's a lot. I mean, there's 3, right, in nickel. And this is a guy that ranks within the top 39 of 114 DBs, right? 38th in coverage, not bad at all. If you go back to 2024, you know, maybe not as good of a year, but still pretty solid. Was, I guess, the best pass rushing corner in football. But this past season, 3 interceptions. And when you look at the Dallas Cowboys and their defense right now, I think they needed to add more guys to this secondary that they could trust. You have Deron Bland. You have Siobhan Revel, who they're still hoping could be an absolute dog. And I think they could, or he could be. Then you got Reddy Stewart and Zion Childress, who I do like in your nickel spot. But Cobie Durant could be an instant game changer, an instant starter for this defense.
What up,
really
Davion Wallace?
Now, you guys let me know in the comments how you feel about it. We're going to break down a little bit of film, maybe one more play before we dive into it. Before we do so, hit the like button. I'm going to give this signing a B+. I like it. If he's
I like Cobie Durant.
Honestly, I'm in. I'm in for it. So let me know what you guys think. Let's keep going. Another really good play. Now, the Rams did play him a lot at boundary, or I guess you could say field side corner. Right here, lined up versus JSN, Jack Smith-Njigba. Right, and he's going to be running this kind of speed out, maybe like 5 to 7 yards back to the football, to the sideline, and essentially we're playing with outside leverage here with Cobie Durant. Reads it like a book. Eyes stay on the quarterback the entire way, which allows him to break on this football a lot sooner. And then look at him, jump it. Again, beautiful job. This guy can be really good. Now, what I really do like about him is his versatility. He can play field side, he can play boundary side, he can play nickel. He can play literally anything. The reason I was so kind of adamant on him playing nickel for them, because they already have Deron Bland and Siobhan Revel as their outside. I mean, I guess they could change it up. They could. I actually do like Zion Childress, and Reddy Stewart played decently well last year. But yeah, I think your DBs now, Deron Bland, Siobhan Revel, and then Cobie Durant. I think
Cobie Durant is going to probably beat Reddy out. I really do. I believe he's going to beat Reddy out. I think Cobie Durant is better than Reddy. I really do.
That's fine. I think that's honestly a pretty damn good DB room with these backups. I don't mind it. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I really think this guy can be a starter. I really do. I think he can be a starter for the Cowboys. And Angie, I'm like you. Angie said he taller than you. Angie, 5'11" is pretty much, I would think, is the average size for most dudes. But I don't understand how you call that short, but I guess a defensive back, that may be a little bit short. But I'm going to tell you something I learned about defensive back, and some of you guys out there who may have played defensive back in high school or college, tell me if you have understood this too. One of the things that I got from a scout about taller defensive backs, they struggle with they struggle with smaller wide receivers, and they struggle with agile wide receivers. One of the things that taller defensive backs tend to have a problem with is the turning of the hips. You know, when a wide receivers make certain moves, or they take them outside or they take them inside, you know, how quick can they turn their hips and make those kinds of breaks? Taller wide receivers suffer with that, but you'll find something out about a smaller or a shorter cornerback. Taller cornerbacks struggle with that. Taller defensive backs struggle with that. But if you get a smaller defensive back, one of the advantages that they have is that they have the hips that can turn really quick. They can make really quick decisions, and their body reacts in the right way, and they can make jumps a lot quicker sometimes than the larger defensive backs. And this is why even some of the larger defensive backs, even though they are the prototypical size, they get got a lot. They really do get got a lot. And so maybe by him being 5'11" is maybe an advantage for him rather than a disadvantage for him. Boy, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Hey, if he said he was Lil Flip, son, I'd have to say I'd have to say call Dana. Cause he might have a good case for being Lil Flip son. Okay, hold on a second. There was somebody back here, Mike T. Let me see. Was that Mike T? Let me say something. Let me answer Mike T in Ruffin real quick. What's going on, Ruffin? Mike T said everyone is blaming Matt Eberflus. It was the players too. Yeah, I mentioned that in my video. If he was that bad, why did they pick him up right away? San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan would not make a mistake picking. Yep. I noticed that. But again, Mike T, I kind of mentioned this during the season. He's never been this bad. Even though, Mike T, let's get this part correct though. The same problems he had in Dallas as far as personnel, as in getting along with personnel, bonding with the team, blaming players and those things, he actually had the same problem in Chicago. They were ready to run him out of Chicago, and for whatever reason, they decided to give him one more season, and it was a catastrophe. Freddie says to those that say if they want to win a Super Bowl, they should spend in free agency. I asked this, how did the Eagles do in 81 when they went on a shopping spree? Freddie, I can give you even better proof. Or let me not say better, I can give you more recent proof. When you look at all the players that the Miami Dolphins in the last 3 or 4 years spent in free agency, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, extended Tua Tagovailoa, I think there was another player too, and none of those players are there now, and they have like a historical dead cap number that they're going to have to pay this year. And I feel sorry for Malik Willis and Jalen Tolbert because I think they're in a no-win situation. The Miami Dolphins is projected to have the worst wide receiver room ever, I think, in history. But that's probably a little bit of exaggeration. But it's not about the Cowboys necessarily going on a spending spree. But the Cowboys need to understand that when you go into free agency, you must spend. That's the point. You must spend. And even Jerry Jones is realizing that free agency has changed. Free agency has changed. It was more ferocious this year than it's ever been. It's changed, Freddie. And if you want a player, you either gonna use the bathroom or get off the pot in free agency. You're not tiptoeing in free agency unless you're just coming to get, bargain players and things of that nature. But if you want a true impact player, and let me be clear, some of these players are looking for the money in free agency because they are impact players. They're not just players who are saying, give me the money because of my big name. No, they are players that have absolutely outperformed contracts. And some of these guys are in free agency saying, I have outperformed my contract. Now I'm ready to get paid because I became a big name because I made big time plays. Let's not misunderstand that. And so in free agency, I'm not saying you go out there and break the bank. And I'm sure you're not thinking that I'm saying go out there and break the bank. But what I am saying is you got to go into free agency understanding, man, sometimes there are players out there. You just got to say, we're going to overpay. Now, the Max Crosby 2 first-round picks, and I don't believe the Raiders were looking for the Cowboys this year's and next year's first round. No, I believe the Raiders were targeting the Cowboys. I believe the Raiders thought they were going to swindle the Cowboys out of George Pickens, a 12th and a 20. I still believe it. I still believe it. I've been saying it, and I still believe it. They really were targeting the Cowboys. They wanted those 2 first-round picks and George Pickens. That's what they wanted. But again, you got to understand, when you go into free agency, I'm just saying, find you one player. Find you one player. Not just a player to say, hey, we're going to overpay for that player. No, find a player that fits what you're trying to do, that you truly believe can make a difference on your team, can really help you get to the Super Bowl, and you say, hey, I want that player. Let's go get that player. I just think you do. What's up, Ice Cold? I just say you go get that player. Ruffin, let me answer another question you asked. Let me tell you something. Stephon Gilmore, I think he could easily fit into a Christian Parker system because I think he plays well as a zone cornerback. But I think Stephon Gilmore is done. I do. Oh, Ruffin, yeah, I think that there's no turning back for A.J. Brown, man. There's no turning back. A.J. Brown is good as done with the Eagles. There's no turning back. Absolutely none. There's just no turning back. Yeah, football fanatic, I'm not, you don't have to tell us how tall you are, but, one of the things that I've heard from scouts sometimes is that these taller defensive backs, where they struggle is in the transition and the fluidity of the hips, being able to make those quick turns, making those breaks on the ball. Man, not everybody can do that. But those shorter cornerbacks, what they lack in height, they make up for in their agility. And so Cobie Durant is one of those guys, I believe. JCT said, don't you think people call it glazing with Dak because it's Dak and people hate him? He said if it was Justin Herbert, more people, I think, would be behind what was said about Dak. Do you agree? Oh, yeah. But JCT, I'm telling you something. I like this kid, Cobie Durant, man. He seems to believe in one Rain Dakota Prescott. And that is exactly what you want on the team. What's going on, 864 Cowboys fan? What's going on? Good to see you. He said, sorry, just check back in. Who was talking about being undersized? Oh, it was Cobie Durant. Even though he talking about 5'11" is undersized. Man, I don't know about 5'11" being undersized, but I guess it is for defensive back, and especially when you're talking about the doggone Cowboys. C-Matt said Durant is going to have to practice against CD and GP every day. There won't be an offense that makes him blink this season. He may have a breakout year. C-Matt, I believe he is. Absolutely. True Texan, what's going on? He said, G, not the size of the ship, but the motion of the ocean. Yes, sir. I know what you're talking about. Jeremy Best said, heck, I'm 5'11", so I've been called tall and short by his sports. It is considered short because athletes are normally bigger and taller. So naturally, you would want a guy or players to be 6 foot or taller, at least in the 200 pounds range. Yeah, man, it's so funny. It's so funny, Jeremy. My youngest son, like I told you, man, he's the shortest of the four, but I think he's the best athlete of the four. And man, this dude, boy, it was crazy to see him out there playing quarterback, man. He like the shortest dude out there playing quarterback. But he could play, man. He could play. Yeah, he could play, no doubt about it. James Bowie, what's going on? He said the great Parcells said that you don't get medals for trying. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, King Kong community? Good to see you. Yeah, 864 Cowboys fans. See, and again, it's not about overspending in free agency. It's not about going out there and getting all the best free agents. But you need to have a plan going in saying, okay, one of the top 100 players can help us win the Super Bowl. Can one of the top 100 players help us win the Super Bowl? Can one of the top 100 players help us get to the Super Bowl? So if one of those players can help us get to the Super Bowl, which one is it? We got to go in with a plan. Plan A, plan B, plan C. And if we don't get all three of those, then the heck with it. We're going to continue to just try to get high quality players. And you go get that player, bottom line. Go get that player. Go get that player. And I think they targeted that player. They didn't get that player. They didn't get that player because the Cowboys are reluctant a lot of times to go into free agency saying, we're going to overpay. They go into free agency saying, we're looking for a deal. That's not what day one and day two and day three are for. Unless you're going to find some guys that maybe like a Jalen Thompson. Cowboys got a great deal on Jalen Thompson. But if y'all think about it in the grand scheme of things, Jalen Thompson is the major free agent player that we got because Rashawn Gary wasn't a free agent. He was a trade. And the Cowboys, to me, that's where they seem to do well. They do well in trade negotiations. They don't do well in free agency negotiations. And as in team building, I think that's where they have to get better. Because free agency is a part of building Super Bowl teams. And it's been a part of it. And Jerry should know better than anybody with the acquisition of Charles Haley in 92, the acquisition of Deion Sanders in 95. Heck, man, Jerry Jones is the one who started a lot of this stuff. He ought to know better than anybody. Free agency is a huge part of team building in this new free agency Super Bowl era. All right, let's check out a couple of more of these free agent signings the Cowboys have. Let's see, the next one we can go to from the Dallas Cowboys. I would say if Jalen Thompson is my favorite free agent, Rashawn Gary is my second favorite acquisition, Cobie Durant is my third favorite acquisition of the Cowboys so far in this stint. He's my third favorite. And then my fourth favorite is PJ Locke. And I think we actually looked at PJ Locke. My memory is trying to remember if we looked at PJ Locke. I do think we looked at PJ Locke, but PJ Locke is my fourth favorite. Now, I'll be honest with you. With the other ones, I'm kind of like, These other ones are more like depth pieces, so I don't really know exactly what the Cowboys are kind of doing. But let's check out Otto Agbiana, I think his name, how he pronounces it. Let me hear how he pronounces it again. I think it's Otto Agbiana.
It's a crowded defensive tackle room with.
All right, let's check it. While I'm butchering this man's name, let's check it out. Hold on. Then I'm going to come to the Super Chats after this. Let's check it out.
It's a crowded defensive tackle room with a ton of talent. You got Quinnen Williams, you got Kenny Clark, and now you got Otito Ogbonnia.
Okay, Otito Ogbonnia. Thank you. Otito Ogbonnia. I didn't see the I in there. Okay, it's not Otto, it's Otito. Otito Ogbonnia. Got you.
New signee of the free agent variety here for the Dallas Cowboys. And Otito, welcome back to Texas. Houston, born and raised, but what's it like to now be a part of the Dallas Cowboys?
It's a dream come true. I mean, I've been following the Cowboys for as long as I know. Being a Houston native, it's a special place in my heart. I always wanted to play for this team, so it's a really big deal for me.
So you talk about following them from an early age. It was always in a positive manner, right? Even being from H-Town?
Yeah, always in a positive. I've always been a Cowboys fan, to be fair. So I know that kind of hatred there, the way they feel over there in Houston, but I wasn't a part of that crowd.
Thank goodness for that. And it's thank goodness to have you here as well. What's it going to be like to play next to some of those names I just mentioned and a part of a really talented part of that Cowboys defense?
Yeah, both those guys I've been watching since I was even probably before college and watching cut-ups of those guys. So it's
I do think this guy's going to be better than people expect. I really do think he's going to be better than people expect. He seems to be another one of these I'm just thinking that he's another one of these Christian Parker or one of the defensive staff of the Cowboys now. I think he's one of their picks, and I think they saw something in him, and I think that they were like, okay, we're going to let Osa go. I think they targeted him before they even let Osa go, that we're going to get him and let Osa go. So I think this guy, I think he's going to be able to play in the system or whatever that system is. I just think he can play.
Play with them, play with those guys at that caliber, that type of leadership. So I'm excited to learn from them and get better.
Have you been able to catch up with Christian Parker and the defensive staff quite yet? Yes. What have those conversations been like?
It's been good. The coaching staff is really excited. I'm excited what we're going to do here. I'm very excited for just going up. You know, I know what the Cowboys' state of defense was last year. I've been a part of a situation like that and being able to go. I know what it takes to get a defense rolling, and so hearing from those guys, hearing what they have planned, I'm excited.
Now, if you were to give your scouting report, your own self-scout, out to Cowboys fans out there, what are the Cowboys fans going to get to see from Otito Ogbonnia this year?
Yeah, you're going to see a dominant run game, dominant at the point of attack, stuff in the run, A gap to D gap. You're going to see that. You're going to feel the presence. Stop the run for sure.
Now, I hear that there's some background, too, from a track and field standpoint. I heard you were a shot put gold medalist, U20 Pan Am Games. Take me through that scenario. A lot of times that multi-sport stuff pays off.
Yeah, it's something I've been doing since I was really young. It's actually probably one of the first things I picked up on, and then got really good at it. I was really self-taught for a long time, and so being able to do that at UCLA and do that at a world stage like that was amazing. So.
Now, it's a long off season. There's still a lot of work left to be done until we start playing games in the fall. But what's next for you? What's kind of the step process to get ready to be at your best this year?
Yeah, just continue training this off season. Get back here eventually. Get with the guys. Get in OTAs. Kind of start that off season strong, finish it strong, and then go on a summer break and train even harder and ready to travel to Oxnard.
Travel to Oxnard, back out west, right? Yeah, played at UCLA. He finds himself at home out there. But welcome back to Texas, back to Dallas. Otito Ogbonnia, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to saying that name. I'm going to call him Otito. I'm going to call him Otito for right now. I'm going to have to practice saying that, that last name. But I think Otito is going to be good for the Dallas Cowboys. And see, this is what I want Cowboys fans to just, because I've noticed, since I've been doing this now, kind of going into that year two, it's like we always wanted to be either or with the Cowboys. It don't have to be either or. Why do some of us get mad? It's okay to say that the Cowboys have done a good job in free agency. and also to say at the same time, but they still need more. Both of those statements are true. I'll be honest with you. I think the Cowboys have done a really good job in free agency. They didn't go out and get players who were as Angie, I believe Angie, Newhouse, Bass, Dominique Pittman, and Darren Posey. They had deemed this group of players, the Cowboys, they were always getting, they were calling them the ligament gang. They were always adding people to the ligament gang. Guys who were coming off injuries and always trying to add these guys in. But they didn't go out and do that this year. The Cowboys pretty much went out and got quality. I talked about this last year. I'm not as much worried about the quantity with the Cowboys as I am the quality with the Cowboys. The quality. And when I look at what they did on day one, I saw quality. What I saw after that, I'm looking at more of depth pieces. But it don't have to be either or. Sometimes it can be both. Sometimes it can be multiple. And it's, okay, the Cowboys did a great job in free agency. Okay, but it's also understanding that they still need to make a couple of more moves because they don't need to be so dependent upon rookies coming in and being those impact players. I want to come back to Herbert Starks. He said something here that caught my eye. He said they said that they are going to take both the 12 and the 20 and move up to get Sonny Styles. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. Move up to get Sonny Styles that wants to be the green dot, trading up with the Cardinals. Trading up with the Cardinals of Tennessee. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think it's going to happen. And I wouldn't do that for Sonny Styles. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't give away a 12 and a 20 for Sonny Styles. I wouldn't do it. Not for, even though I believe Sonny Styles is going to be incredible, I'm not doing that for Sonny Styles. Now, I might give away a first and a third and go up and get Sonny Styles. I can't give up both first rounders to. Now, you do that for a team that went in free agency, Herbert Starks. You do that if you're a team that went in free agency and said, okay, we got an edge, we got a defensive tackle, we got a cornerback, we got two linebackers. Okay, if you went in free agency and got two linebackers and said, now we want to go get Sonny Styles and we're going to give up a first, we'll give up a 12, we'll give up a 12th round, number 12, and we'll give up that third round pick. If you're going to tell me you did that after you went and got two good linebackers, if you would have gotten a Kobe Dean, if you would have got a Gray, if you would have got a Devin Lloyd, then if you'd have told me you're going to give up a 12 and a third round pick, I would have been like, go ahead. Go right ahead, because Sonny Styles is just going to be, the icing on the cake. And he'll probably come in and play right beside those guys because he's got a real good supporting cast around him. But nah, I'm not doing that at this point. Cowboys haven't done enough to warrant giving up a 12 and a 20 for Sonny Styles. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I wonder, I'd like to know where you got that from. I hadn't seen it anywhere. I hadn't seen it anywhere. I'd like to know so I could do a video on it. But I'm not doing that with what the Cowboys have done so far. They got to do more in order to do that. Marcus Kidd said something else I thought was interesting. He said the Raiders trying to set Dallas up because they know they want Max Crosby. Exactly. I was saying the same thing. They wanted to see how bad the Cowboys wanted Max Crosby. For me, I thought they were targeting Max Crosby. When you say you want 2 first-round picks and a player, there is no team that fit that fit that MO better than the Dallas Cowboys. I believe they were wanting George Pickens and those, and I believe they were saying, we want to see how bad you want Max Crosby. I'm glad the Cowboys kind of held the ground on that. Chanel, what up? What up, Chanel? Andy said, I like how he said he understands the state of the defense from last year and understands how to basically get or do better. Yeah, they got to get him more, Angie. And that's really the key. They got to get him more. Especially if they want him to hit the ground running. Because it sounds like to me, they want him to hit the ground running. I mean running. And if they want him to hit the ground running, got to get him more players. Chanel says CP came to the interview and blew Jerry and Steven's socks off. No doubt about it. Mike T, you're saying a mouthful. Let's see what CP now. See what he is now that his plate is full. Not only with the secondary. Yep. Got to see what he is. Yeah. C. Burleson in the house. What up, C. Burleson? Yes, sir. I agree. County Field. He said, glad they didn't get rehab players this year. And hopefully the ones they are rehabbing can bounce back and help the team versus hold the team back. Country Field. This is what Angie, Bass, Newhouse, Fail, Dominique Pepper, they were calling the ligament gang. And I am glad the Cowboys are staying away from the ligament gang this year. No more of bringing in these hurt players. Don't even do it in the draft. Anybody that's coming off injury, don't bring him in. True Texan said, listen, it took 30 years to even get Jerry to even taste crow or humble pie. Did he eat the whole meal? Remains to be seen. Bit is an improvement. Flus is an improvement. Come on, Parker. I agree with you on that, man. No doubt, True Texan. No doubt. KC, what up with you? No doubt. Freddie said, I get that when you're going to free agency, you have to spend, but you don't blow your whole cap. That's it. Yeah, some blow their whole cap. No, don't blow your whole cap. Just find you a player that you say that player's going to make an impact. Now, Freddie, this is where I even challenge myself on. Maybe the Cowboys did do that. Maybe Jalen Thompson was the guy the Cowboys said he's going to change our defense. Maybe he's that guy. Maybe Rashawn Gray. I mean, maybe they looked at those two guys and said they're enough. So we're going to see. True Texan said, amen, on trade versus free agency, they do need to improve. Yep. True Texan. They do well when it comes to trades. I mean, the Cowboys might be one of the best trading teams out there. But when it comes to free agency, the Cowboys is that team. You know, you ever had this, you ever had your have an uncle, you tell him, hey man, I'm getting ready to go buy a car. And he tells you, make sure when you get ready to go get a car, let me go with you. You're like, why? Because I'm going to get you the best deal. And you take him with you, and he haggles every time you pick out a car. He going to haggle with the guy. He going to haggle with the price. He going to be out there kicking on the tires, pushing down on the trunk, the hood. He going to be sitting in it, working on the seats, turning the steering wheel, turning up and down the radio. And then he going, hey, let me do the talking. And then he going to tell the salesman, how much you want for this? $22,000. Oh, man, it ain't worth but 19. Oh, man, look how many miles on this thing. Oh, man, look. Man, I'm looking under the hood, and this is worn, and that's worn. Take it out. Oh, let's take it out for a drive. Man, this got a little bit of a miss right here. Man, it ain't worth 19, 17. That's how Jerry Jones and the Cowboys seem to go into their free agency. They're going to find every reason why. They're going to find every reason why when they go into free agency that a player should be giving them a discount. And that might work in trades. It don't work as well in free agency, especially when you're talking about the free agency that we're talking about right now. Wait a minute, Andrew said, G. She said, G, you come off like that type of uncle. Andrew, I'm going to tell you the truth. I am not that type of uncle. I'm going to tell you right now, Andrew. You don't want to take me with you to go look for a car. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that you're going to probably get the first. I'm going to ask you, what kind of car do you want? And when you tell me the kind of car you want, I'm going to tell you right now, that salesman say that car is $22,000. I'm going to probably be like, that's probably a good deal. I don't know nothing about no cars. I don't know nothing about no cars. Got a car to shop right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of these people. My wife will tell you, Angie, I'm one of these people. I just believe that if you want something, don't go into what you want with the price you want to pay first. You look into what you want and see what the price is. And then you ask yourself if you're willing to pay that price. Some people just go into everything and try to devalue it. Like, okay, I want to drive a Mercedes Benz, but I only make $25,000 a year. You better go get you a Hot Wheels, because you probably not going to be driving no Mercedes Benz. If you do, it ain't going to be up to date. I mean, you probably going to be driving something from around 1989, and if it's in any kind of shape, you ain't even getting it for then. No, I mean, you got to decide, okay, this is what I need and this is what I want. You go do the research and see what the price is. And if you can't pay the price, then maybe you don't need to be looking at that merchandise. I didn't try to rhyme, but I'm just saying. If you can't pay the price, don't go looking at the merchandise. My mama would tell me, when you go into the store, don't touch nothing, because you ain't got no money to pay for nothing. You ain't got no money to pay for it, don't touch it. Demetrius said, I say we keep our first because there are still too many holes to fill. Yes, sir. I am already sick from this mock draft that has the Cowboys taking a receiver at 20. Demetrius, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. They got me so mad with this wide receiver talk, man. Out here talking about, oh, Cowboys going to trade George Pickens. I don't even want to talk about that stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. It's like people don't want the Cowboys to have George Pickens so bad it's killing them. Michael Smooth said, and that same uncle will pick a lemon. Boy, you are not lying, boy. That same uncle will pick a lemon, boy. Angie said, that's how I did when I got my Jag. Angie, I was looking at one of those the other day. And, hey, Angie, I'm one of them people. I'm like you. I'm just kind of like, if I want a car, I go and look at the price on that car. I start doing research on the price based on the miles, based on blah, blah, blah. And if that's the price of the car, I don't go in saying, okay, I'm going to see if I can go down and talk down the salesman. And I find that car, I'm like, give it to me. Sure, I'm like, give it to me. Grave Digger said, look, it's an 89 Benz with 250,000. He said for 10,000. He said, old Jerry be like, man, that's a good deal. Boy, you crazy. Hey, boy, you crazy. Boy, 250,000 pounds. Man, I'm telling you. All right, let's see. Let's look at a little bit of film on Otito. No, I'm sorry, Otito. Let's look at a little bit of film on Otito. And then we're going to move on. These other guys, we'll catch them on another one. I don't really understand. I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe we'll look at a couple of more, because some of the ones the Cowboys got, I do think that Sam Howell, the Sam Howell pickup, might be saying something about the Cowboys, might be saying something as it pertains to Joe Milton and the Cowboys. I'm going to bring that up in a minute when we get to Sam Howell. Okay, I think that there was some film done on Otito. I'm pretty sure some of y'all already checked out Boss Cowboy. He did an extensive look also at Otito. So let's see. I thought Matty Dubs did something on Otito too. Let me see. If not, we're gonna move on to the Howell discussion. I think it's very interesting what he said. Let me see. Yeah, this a
little bit after the Dallas Cowboys signed safety.
Check out Otito. This is what they were saying about Otito. And then we're going to move on to Jerry Jones. Let's check out Otito. This is what Matty Dubs had to show on Otito. I think Otito is going to be pretty good for the Cowboys.
The PJ locked to a deal. They also signed Otito Ogbonnia as well. He is another guy that's going to be on the interior of the defensive line. Probably in your 0 to maybe a 2-eye technique. Maybe plays a 3 technique, but right here you see him playing that 1. He's right on the inside shoulder of the guard or right to the outside shoulder of the center. And obviously this is a guy that's going to be a plugger for you, maybe a 2-gapper. Does really good in situations stopping the run wise. Not going to be a 3-down player for you. Probably going to split a lot of his time with a Quinnen Williams or Kenny Clark. I don't see him playing a 5 technique at all, so kind of slot him in right alongside Jay Toya, right behind Quinnen Williams, right in this area. So I don't mind the pickup. You probably needed some more nose tackle depth, and that's what he gives you. Again, look at this play here. Stopping the run on Devon Chain. Completely blows up this right guard. There's a great, look at him. Look at all the leverage he gets right there. Easy money. They end up losing a yard or getting barely back to the line of scrimmage. So I definitely like this addition here for Dallas. We're going to break down why I like it here in a second with some more minus. You're getting a nose tackle. If he plays, cool. If he doesn't, you're probably not going to lose much. I think it's a 1-year cheap deal. I wanted to show you this play because this is against Philadelphia. Now, he is your straight-up zero, your straight-up nose tackle right here at a 12 personnel for the offense. Look at him engage with the left guard. Again, eyes always on the backfield. We want to know where the running back is going. Are you going to go here? Eyes always on the backfield. We want to.
And this also, this is, and I believe this is one of the reasons why they picked him up. Because if you can tell, this is a 3-4 they're running here. This looks like 4 linebackers. Three down linemen. So this is the 3-4. This is the reason why they got Otito in here.
Nose tackle right here at a 12 personnel for the offense. Look at him engage with the left guard. Again, eyes always on the backfield. We want to know where the running back is going. Are you going to go here? Are you going to bounce it to the outside? You're going to bounce it back.
He's a plugger.
Cutback lanes. Where are you going? So eyes always engaged on the football. And look at him be able to disengage here. Wrap up Saquon.
I've noticed too, just listening to a lot of these players talk, the Cowboys are definitely trying to stop the run this year. They stunk at it again last year. Once team kind of started double teaming Kenny and Quinnen, and once again they started getting ripped up in there. And so the Cowboys again, they're very intent on stopping the run.
Barkley, they barely get back to the line of scrimmage again. Very decent player when it comes to stopping the run, and that's really what I look for the Dallas Cowboys. So again,
Christian Legal, prayers up to you, my brother, in Jesus' name. Pray all is well, Christian Legal. Just got out of the hospital. Okay. Pray all is well, my brother.
Feel like they did a pretty damn good job. And here's another one. Look at him. Where is he? Now, one technique right to the outside shoulder of the guard, or inside shoulder of the guard. Now to the outside because they switch.
So once again, this is why the Cowboys picked him up. He's in that. This is that 3-4. He's in there. And they got 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there's a safety that's kind of come down in the box, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of the reasons why they picked him up. So, Aussie, like you said, he's a plugger in there.
Actually, which one is he? I can't even tell right here.
Christian Legal, is everything good with you?
Yeah, so he's on the right side. So again, really good play. Really good play. A run stuffer. The Dallas Cowboys, and let's actually go check out the Dallas Cowboys from last season. This is a team rankings app. You guys can go check them out. Dallas Cowboys. Let's go see where they ranked just for the video. In terms of run defense, they were 26th in the NFL in stopping the run. They allowed 4.7 yards per carry. This is a guy that's going to slot in here, can rotate in with Kenny Clark, won't be asked to be the day one starter, or won't ask to be a 3-down player. I think he's a rotational piece just like PJ Locke, and I think he's a really good addition. You need guys that can help stop the run and stop the push maybe again.
Yes, sir.
So I don't mind it.
All right, they got it under control.
Cheap, low
Katharina,
risk,
what's going
high
on?
Reward. Yeah, I'll take it all day. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family.
Yeah, I really like Otito. I do. Chanel, what do you think about him? I like Otito. All right, Christian said his COPD flared up. He said everything seems to be good now. He's out of the hospital. Thank God for that. Yes, sir. Glad you're joining us tonight. All right, man. Like I said, man, hold on. Let me read Otito. Hold on a second. I didn't mean to call you Otito, Christian. All right, hold on a second. I couldn't breathe. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, you was passing out? Wow. Well, I'm glad you got that under control, man. What happened? What made it flare up? Yeah, what made it flare up? Got the meds you need? Okay, that's good. Man, I hate to hear that. All right. As we're getting the update on Christian Legal, let's kind of move over to the Jerry Jones conversation. I don't want to miss that tonight. We'll get some. Wait, before we move on to that, hold on a second. Let's get one more guy in here. I want to have a conversation about. One more guy in here I want to have a conversation about. I mean, Matt Hennessy. I mean, he got a cool name. If you're in the Hennessy, he got a cool name. Oh, you said smoking? Christian Legal, you might have to give that up. Were you smoking or was somebody smoking around you? Because if you were smoking, yeah, you might have to give up you might have to give up smoking. Yeah, Michael Smooth said he knows what it's not like not to be able to breathe. He had an asthma. He has asthma. Yeah. I see you there, Ice Cold White Hennessy. Man, that's a cool name he got. We got Tyrus Wheat back. Tyrus Wheat said he never wanted to leave the Cowboys, so we'll see what happens with him. But this right here is the most interesting to me. Katharina Kids, what's going on? This is the most interesting to me.
Free agency rolling.
Let's listen to Sam Howell real quick. Oh, I got you. Said you quit already. Okay. Good. Yeah, good. Wait a minute. Christian, you said you quit smoking, but you was smoking. Is that what you said? Did you kind of have like a small relapse or something? You said I quit already, but I was smoking. All right, give me some clarity on that. All right, this is Sam Howell. And y'all tell me what this is telling y'all. I have a theory about this thing I have a theory about our backup quarterback currently. I have a theory about him. I have a theory that I don't think the Cowboys were impressed with Joe Milton. What's going on, Stephen White? Angie, let me tell you something. I was watching, I think it was a documentary or something, Angie. And heard this guy say that he said he beat every drug out there. He said the one thing he couldn't beat was cigarettes. He said cigarettes are hard to beat. If that's what you're talking about, it's a struggle. Man, I heard cigarettes are hard to beat. Yeah, Chanel said, you have to dead that smoking. Yeah, your health more important than the burn. Yeah, them cigarettes, okay. Okay, you said I was smoking before I quit. That's what made it flare up. Okay. Got you. Okay. Angie, you know what? Angie, stop playing. You know what Joe Milton did to impress everybody? Joe Milton was out there turning flips. That's what Joe Milton was out there doing, impressing everybody with, Angie. Stop playing. Joe Milton, can't no quarterback turn flips like Joe Milton. I'm going to tell you something else that exposed Joe Milton. I'm going to tell you something else that exposed Joe Milton and what I believe compelled the Cowboys to go get Sam Howell. The Drake May conversation. I believe the Drake May conversation and how Drake May played this year. I believe it exposed Joe Milton because there is no way. I don't believe it for a second. And I said it even last year. If Joe Milton, with his prototypical size, with his cannon for an arm, with his ability to run the ball, I don't believe for a second that Mike Vrabel would have chosen Drake May over Joe Milton if Joe Milton was more talented than Drake May. Mike Vrabel would be able to get a king's ransom for Drake May had he kept Joe Milton. And if Joe Milton would have been better than Drake May, the Patriots would have got the 3rd round pick they were trying to get for him in the first place. They couldn't get that 3rd round pick. And now we kind of saw some of that, yeah, this is why they couldn't get that 3rd round pick. People saw, and like I said before, they saw practice film on Joe Milton. They saw Joe Milton and they said no. And so now the Cowboys have brought in a more accurate Sam Howell. He's a more accurate quarterback. And he's probably a better backup quarterback. And I would dare say he's probably a better backup quarterback than Joe Milton. Sometimes people have to understand something, man. Athleticism, when you're talking about the quarterback position, athleticism isn't the key category for a quarterback. Some of the greatest quarterbacks in this league have no athleticism. Can I process plays? Can I understand plays? Can I read defenses? Can I throw accurately? All of those things come before throwing the ball 95 yards and turning backflips. All of that comes before that. And I really didn't think, in the grand scheme of things, kind of watching Joe Milton run, I didn't think he was the greatest runner. I really didn't. I didn't think he was the greatest runner. I thought he was an okay runner. Angie, I'm going to be honest with you. Angie, if I had a choice between Trey Lance and Joe Milton, you tell me, I would take Trey Lance. I really would. I would take Trey Lance. I really would take Trey Lance over Joe Milton. Trey Lance looked a lot better with the LA Chargers. Trey Lance looks a lot better with the LA Chargers. And I got a strange feeling, man, we're going to wake up in a year or two and Trey Lance may actually get another opportunity in this league. Trey Lance may get another opportunity in this league. Christian Legal, man, Baltimore Ravens, boy, they cut Cooper Rush like, man, they cut Cooper Rush. We'll see what happens with Cooper Rush. Tony Homer said they both trash. Tony Homer said they both trash. I'd take Trey Lance over. I really would. Edgy said I'd take Trigger Trey too. They both throw it. And I think that's why they went and got Sam Howell. I really do believe this is why they got Sam Howell. And I mean, I got to be honest. I think Sam Howell is an upgrade over both of them. I really do. I think Sam Howell is an upgrade.
On here now with one of the Dallas Cowboys' latest signees, quarterback Sam Howell. Sam, thanks for the time. Yes, I know it's been a whirlwind past couple of days for you, but you're signed now here in Dallas. What's this experience been like for you so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Getting in the building and meeting everybody. It's been really cool. Dallas was my team growing up, so it's a dream come true to be here and be a Dallas Cowboy. So been a crazy past couple of days, but I'm glad this is where it ended.
When you started your career, your first career start was against this team. What do you remember about that game? And you maybe plan to talk a little trash to some of your now new teammates that you're on the roster with here.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Just getting that opportunity to start my first game and playing against the Cowboys, obviously with just the history they have here. And they have a great team. They've had a great team for a really long time and a lot of really good players. I remember that defense, man, they had a lot of good players, and they still do have a lot of good players. So I'm excited to be on this side of it for sure.
And on this side of it, you now get to play with Dak Prescott. You've played with two teams against him in the NFC East. What did you like watching him from afar on the opposite sideline whenever you guys would line up against each other, and what are you looking forward to learning from him and some of the other teammates here?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Dak. He's been a tremendous player in this league and someone I have a lot of respect for. And just I love the way he plays the game. I love the way, he throws the football, the way he leads his team. So he's definitely a guy I look up to in this league, and it'll be fun to watch him up close for sure.
And then in this quarterback room, 4 of you now. I know it's going to be a long process from now towards the season. What's your mindset when it comes to competition and being able to set yourself out from the rest of the pack?
Yeah, I just try to be the best version of myself. Just try to put my head down and go to work every single day, and try not to worry too much about what the result or the outcomes are. I just try to do everything I can and be the best version of myself every day, and kind of let the results take care of themselves.
Sam Howell, newest Dallas Cowboy. Thanks for the time, Sam.
Thank you.
Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm going to tell you something crazy. Sam Howell is going to push Dak Prescott in ways that Trey Lance and Joe Milton never could. And I don't mean he's going to push Dak Prescott as in challenging Dak Prescott for the job, because Sam Howell is not close to Dak Prescott. But Sam Howell will be able to make some throws that those other guys can't make. Sam Howell can run the football. Sam Howell can do some things that I think that's going to bring even more. And I still say, man, a lot of people don't realize. I still believe that there is more of Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott has even hit his peak yet. I think there is more Dak Prescott. And I think the better the defense they put on the other side of Dak Prescott, and now that Sam Howell is going to be here, because he's going to be able to, he's going to give Dak that extra motivation, I believe, just as in how he makes some throws, how he does some things. I think it's going to motivate Dak even more, and Dak's going to be even more insane than he was last year. I think Sam Howell is going to help Dak Prescott. I really do. J. Lou from the Cujo 903, what up? I think he's going to help Dak Prescott way more than these other guys. These other guys could have ever helped Dak Prescott, more than they ever could have helped Dak Prescott. So I believe Sam Howell is going to be a good addition to the team. He is definitely, I can truly say Sam Howell is finally an upgrade at the backup quarterback position. No doubt in my mind, he is an upgrade at the backup quarterback position. Okay, let's get to this Jerry Jones interview. It's a very short interview, but I want you to hear 4 things that he says that are, you can tell 4 things that Jerry Jones says kind of where his mindset is as far as the Cowboys going into this season. And even what he says about last season. But boy, Jerry Jones unleashed, man. I'm telling us right now. Jerry Jones unleashed on Matt Eberflus. And I said it in the video.
You guys have been really busy.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ice Cole. Yeah. I'll take Sam over Cooper Rush. Yeah. Angie said the game he played against Cowboys, Howell was running for his life. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be better than these other. He's definitely, I think he's an upgrade over all 3 of them. Trey Lance, Joe Milton, and even Cooper Rush. Dale Jordan, what's going on? Yeah, I think he's an upgrade. Bernard Field said he went toe-to-toe with Dak when they went head-to-head. Yeah, I like him over them. Yeah, I'm with you, Ice Cole. I'd take him too. But again, shoot, Baltimore ran him out of there, boy. They banned him in Baltimore. Shoot, Cooper Rush got his chance in Baltimore. He didn't look the same. Yeah, he didn't look the same in Baltimore. All right, let's check out Jerry. Now, I want you to hear these statements that Jerry made. These statements, Jerry is a shot thrower, man. I'm telling you, man, Jerry is a shot thrower. Listen to these concise statements that he makes.
I don't remember this much activity in a long, long time.
Well, I don't know that since we've had free agency as we know it today, where it's really very viable, most teams involved, very actively making deals, if you will.
Now, I want you to catch this part right here. This part is vital. It's almost like Jerry is trying to get himself. He's trying to get himself into the mode of free agency. But I still don't think the Cowboys are fully in the mode of free agency, because Jerry is saying this himself. Jerry is saying a whole lot more teams are active in free agency. And notice what he said, free agency is viable. What do you mean it's viable? Because we've heard years that Stephen Jones has said for years. Well, last I checked, this is Stephen Jones. Y'all remember? Last I checked, the Super Bowl wasn't won in free agency. How many teams do we see every single year that go into free agency and they get impact players that help them get to the Super Bowl? We see it every single year. Every single year. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles go out there in free agency, and Saquon Barkley changed the whole complexion of their team. Saquon Barkley changed the whole complexion of their team. We see it every single year. People don't want to give the Seattle Seahawks credit. Free agency changed the Seattle Seahawks. It took them to the Super Bowl. People only look at DeMarcus Lawrence. They also went and got Sam Darnold. Do what? Do we not understand how insane it is that the Seattle Seahawks go and get Sam Darnold in free agency and go to the Super Bowl and win it? Don't tell me that free agency doesn't help teams win the Super Bowl. It absolutely does. It does. It absolutely does. And again, I'm not saying you have to break the bank, but you got to be willing to spend some money out of that bank. The Seattle Seahawks didn't pay a Dak Prescott price for Sam Darnold, but you better believe they paid Sam Darnold some good money. They paid DeMarcus Lawrence some good money. Free agency unequivocally helped the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. We say, oh, yeah, but DeMarcus Lawrence, he didn't play a major part. Yeah, but Sam Darnold did. So this is the part of the game that Jerry is still not playing exactly right yet. They're not playing this game exactly right. You have got to make some impacts through free agency too. Is Jalen Thompson going to be that player? I do believe so. But the Cowboys could have did themselves a real good favor had they also went in there and hit on one of those linebackers in free agency. Because I'm telling you, you hit on one of those linebackers in free agency, man, this draft is really looking good. Rather than this draft, we're basically going into this draft, and I'm really blown away that there are people who are okay with going into this draft with the thought process of, yeah, we're going to get these 2 first-round picks, and they're going to come in and play immediately. Man, slow down. Slow down. Why do we have to put them in that type of situation? We don't have to put them in that situation. I would rather bring those players along and put them in special situations. James Bowie says, sometimes we get enamored with big names, but look at the Broncos, only 3 Pro Bowlers, but they have solid players now that know how to play. James Bowie, you want me to, now, are you ready for me to blow up your statement? You ready for me to blow up your statement? I agree with what you're saying, but I'm going to show you that even the Denver Broncos believe in this philosophy of getting an impact player in free agency. James Bowie, you ready? Tell me the wide receiver that the Denver Broncos just went and got. Tell me if that wide receiver is a big name with big time pay. Do we not see what they gave up for that wide receiver? They gave up a first and a third. Why would you do that in free agency? Tell me again about the Denver Broncos. Why do we think the Denver Broncos, somebody tell me and James Bowie, who is the wide receiver that the Denver Broncos just went and broke the bank for? Who's that wide receiver? They broke the bank for that wide receiver. They not only broke the bank, They bet their future on that wide receiver. A first and a third? What? A first and a third? They broke the bank on him. They absolutely broke the bank. Even though it's a trade, they did it during the free agency period. You go into free agency, whether it be trade or whether it be a free agent, you're going to spend money. It's bottom line. You're going to spend money. The Denver Broncos went out there and got Jalen Waddle. Man, I don't even think I'm doing that for Jalen Waddle. A first and a third? What? A first and a third for Waddle? Man, somebody got to tell me what George Pickens is worth again. Somebody got to tell me what George Pickens is worth. Man, you are borderline knocking on the Cowboys' door saying, hey, we're going to make an offer for George Pickens. The Denver Broncos said, nah, man, we got to go out there and do something in this free agency period, whether it be a trade or free agency. And they went out there and did it. These teams that are vying for the Super Bowl. Jerry just said it in his own sentence. Jerry said that free agency is viable. He understands it can change your team. But where Jerry failed is Jerry is reluctant to take a chance on some of those players. I get not paying $30 million for a player. But if you're going to tell me that if you have a linebacker that wants $12 million a season and the Raiders are offering him 12 and you're offering him 12, so you're telling me you're not willing to offer him 13 or 14 to get the player that's going to, because if you're zeroing in on this player, you're telling me that you believe that this player is going to do well on your team. So if you're telling me that player is going to do well on your team, what's an extra million or two? Man, we're not talking about 30 million. And this is why I say we got to be careful. And, I'm not mad at anybody having the conversation, but I believe we're confusing big names and big time money. I think we're confusing that with as if these big name and big money players can't play. They're big name and big money players because they can play. And that's why people are really willing to pay big money for them, or they've outpaid their contract and they're about to be big name, big money players. We got one of these players on our team right now, George Pickens. Please, George Pickens isn't a big name just because he's a big name. George Pickens is a big name because he came in the league. He came to the Cowboys last year, picked up 1,400 yards, almost 10 touchdowns, and was one of the most electric wide receivers in the game. There's a reason why he's getting $27.8 million on a franchise tag. He's not just a big name. He's not just a big paid player. He's a big time player that changes games. You got to be willing to pay for some of those players. Bottom line, you just do. You just do. You just do. Because they can make a good free agency. They can turn a good free agency into a great free agency. Case in point again. Seattle Seahawks. DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Darnold. They won the Super Bowl in one season. Do we not realize how crazy that is? It didn't take them 2 seasons. 1. In the same season. Free agency, for as much as we're saying you don't have to spend the money, we got examples of the 2 teams that are in the Super Bowl. They didn't necessarily break the bank, but they opened the bank. And they said, we're willing to spend money. Yeah, we're willing to spend money. We're going to go out there and pay a quarterback 30-something million. We're going to go out there and pay an aging DeMarcus Lawrence, whatever they paid DeMarcus Lawrence. Seattle said they were willing to do it. 2 things can be true. And this is why I say I don't understand why are we always making it either or. No, multiple things can be true. You don't have to break the bank, correct. But you got to open the bank. You got to open the bank, man. Sometimes when it's something that you want, you go out there and you doggone get it. Go out there and get it. Angie wanted a Jaguar. What did she do? She went out there and got it. Go get it. If there's something that you want or something that you need that you think will make you better or help you do something, go get it. JCT Slice, he said, gee, Dan Orlovsky said recently that Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are the two most hated quarterbacks in the NFL. JCT Slice, I was meaning to come back to your comment already because I got something to tell you. You said Dak Prescott gets played more than either of them. Hurts and Allen both get excuses. JCT Slice. I'm about to tell you something about Dak Prescott, and I don't know if any of us have noticed it. Dak Prescott earned a lot of respect from a lot of the media, pundits, and players around this league this year, this past season, and now this year. He did two things, and one of them may sound funny to you, but I've been checking around social media. And JCT Slice, this isn't funny. What I'm about to tell you is factual. Both of these statements are factual. After the defense for the Cowboys was so horrendous, and when people saw what Dak Prescott looked like with the line that he had, even though BB, Booker, and Smith are great, Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele, they need some serious work. And Dak Prescott, with his escapability, extending plays, tight window throws, some of the things he was doing with George Pickens, the normal stuff he does with CD Lamb, some of the things he did early with Jake Ferguson, then what he started doing with Ryan Flanoy, JCT Slice. Dak Prescott got a lot of respect from some people that talked bad about Dak Prescott over the years. Colin Cowherd came out and said he realized he finally gets Dak Prescott. Hasn't been Dak Prescott's fault all this time. Stephen A. Smith was nowhere near where he used to be on Dak Prescott because he realized how talented Dak Prescott was. There were so many other people that were talking so good about like, wow, we really realize now that Dak Prescott isn't the problem. They need to get a better team around him. But now I'm about to tell you something crazy, JCT Slice, and Ed, you go laugh at this. But Dak Prescott has really gotten a lot of respect lately for the breakup with his fiance. You should see the social media response to Dak Prescott, him breaking up with his girl or his girl breaking up with him. I mean, people are like, hey, man, Dak Prescott is now my favorite quarterback. Dak Prescott dodged a bullet. Dak Prescott is smart. I mean, people are giving Dak Prescott so much credit for breaking up or this relationship ending with his baby's mother, his daughter's mother. It's crazy to me. I don't understand it. But a lot of people, Dak Prescott is getting a lot of respect over this previous season and now what he's done as far as this relationship thing goes. Because a lot of people are saying how smart he is to get out of that relationship. I don't know what to tell you on that, JCT Slice. I don't know what to tell you. But this is what people are saying. And I think going forward, if Dak Prescott continues on the trajectory that he's on, Dak Prescott is actually going to be one of the most beloved quarterbacks. And if he gets this Super Bowl the way I believe he's going to get in the next couple of years, either this year or the next, I'm telling you, Dak Prescott can do anything he wants to do after he won a Super Bowl. All right. Now let's continue with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones' conversation about free agency lets you know it's like he understands it, but he still doesn't play it well.
That has evolved and come about that we've ever had this kind of reshaping of an aspect of our team. And of course, we actually have touched some offense with a great blocker. But more importantly, what we've done on defense And that plus what we have set up for the draft, plus what we really have coming back from our veteran defensive players.
So let's listen to this statement right here. Now, I really don't know who the blocker. It sounded like he said that they added a blocker to the offense. I don't know. Maybe I missed this whole thing on the blocker for who the blocker is. I'm trying to think who the blocker could be. I mean, I'm surely he's not talking about Hennessy, but he talked about a blocker. He's talking about a blocker or whatever it is, but he talks about the defense. And this is what I realized that Jerry is really dependent upon. Jerry is dependent upon. And they have basically told Christian Parker, it's obvious. They're very dependent upon the players that were injured last year, that they are now going to be healthy this year, and that Christian Parker is going to have a lot to work with. So let's think about the players that they could be talking about defensively. Well, one of these players I believe they must be talking about is DaRon Bland. I think they're saying DaRon Bland is going to come back healthy. Number two, I'm sure they're talking about DeMarion Overshown. He's going to come back healthy. And then number three, I think they're depending upon Savon Revel Jr. to be fully healthy. So these must be the three players that he's talking about coming back healthy. So, and let me listen to this last part again. He said, the players we have coming back.
Coming back from our veteran defensive players that really didn't play that much last year. Injury issues, things like that. Gives us a lot of promise. Coming back, set up for the draft.
So, okay, that was the next part. So also this tells me something that I'm sure that we're all kind of privy to. The Cowboys are very dependent upon the draft. They are thinking that this draft is going to be their ace in the hole. This draft is going to be their ace in the hole. The Cowboys, whatever plan they have, whether it's to trade back, whether it's to trade up, whether it's just to use those 2 first-round picks straight up, the Cowboys seem to be of the understanding that they have a great plan for the draft. A great plan for the draft. And so that plan that they have in the draft is one of the things that's going to help them get over. Rico Love, appreciate you. I mean, they're basically saying that this draft. Okay, I was trying to make sure, look out, they were talking about Hennessy. Okay, so Hennessy is the blocker. So they seem to be banking on Overshown, Revel, Bland. They also are banking on the draft. The draft, and not only the draft, they're banking on Rashawn Gary. They're banking on Jalen Thompson. They're banking on PJ Locke. They're banking on Cobie. They're banking on the Cobie kid. I haven't got all these names right. They're banking on all everything they've done in the draft. They're banking on this. They're banking on it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Gotcha, Mr. Ray. I forgot about Josh Butler. Yep. You got me. I forgot about Josh Butler. I put that in my Rolodex. So they are really thinking that they got some stuff coming up that's going to really help them.
Plus, what we really have coming back from our veteran defensive players.
Yeah,
really
okay.
Didn't play that much last year.
Josh Butler.
Injury issues, things like that. Gives us a lot of promise.
And Josh Butler played really well before he got hurt.
And I'll tell you, when you have the challenges we had last year, there's no place to go but up on the defensive side of the ball. And
Jerry Jones, in that statement, I don't know if y'all paid attention. He obliterated Matt Eberflus. Jerry Jones said that there is nowhere to go but up. There is nowhere to go but up. And based on how the defense played last year, I can't help but agree with him on that. Okay, Aussie, I'm gonna go check out Hennessy. Go check him out. I hadn't really paid attention to him. Christian Legal, I thought that K9 was a free agent, but I'm hearing K9 is still on the team.
Had we played a lick of defense last year.
Another insane statement. He said, had we played a lick of defense last year. Wow. Some of this he's talking about players, but he's talking about Matt Eberflus. He's talking about Matt Eberflus. Had they played a lick of defense last year. But I do go back to Mike T, because I agree with Mike T and some of y'all on this too. You can't blame all of this on Matt Eberflus. Some of this does have to go on those players that were playing. Some of this has to go on some of those players that were playing. They were not playing up to par. But I do think now that we got Christian Parker, I think Christian Parker has a lot of these players excited. I really do. They have a lot of these players excited. And I think some of this, they're going to just play well just based on the respect that they have for Christian Parker. So I do think there is no doubt in my mind, I believe the defense is going to be way better. Let me see here. Mr. Get Dirty. Yes. Man, I'm having a party on that first night of the draft, brother. Having a party, man. Man, we got 2 first-round picks, Mr. Get Dirty. Oh, man, I'm having a party, man. I am having a party. I am excited about this draft. But I am hoping also the Cowboys do some things, maybe before the draft too.
We'd have had ourselves, I think, a real playoff run.
Now, again, Dominique Pittman, if you're still out there, I believe Jerry Jones is saying some things that we've been saying. Ice Cold, Bass, Newhouse, Angie, all of us, and Katharina Kiss, all of us, I think we've been saying some of these things. If the Cowboys would have had a mid-pack defense, they made the playoffs. I believe they would have made the playoffs too. And so I think this is kind of where Jerry Jones is. That even if the defense isn't a top 15, top 10 defense, I believe Jerry's mindset is if we can just get Christian Parker to 20 or below, then we're going to be in the playoffs because our offense is that good. I mean, y'all tell me what y'all think, but Jerry just said it straight out in a sense. Jerry said, had we played a lick of a defense, Jerry didn't say playoffs. Jerry said a playoff run. I mean, Jerry is like he's listening to what we've said. Had they had a mid-pack defense, they make a playoff run. Well, Jerry just said the same thing. Jerry just said the same thing. Jerry, and I don't know about y'all. If you tell me a lick ain't top 10, a lick ain't top 15. If you telling me if we would have played a lick of defense, you telling me basically had we been around number 20, we probably, and you know what? I really can't disagree with Jerry on that. I really do believe that the Cowboys would have had a mid-pack defense. I do believe the Cowboys would have made the playoffs. I think they would have probably won I think they probably win 3 more games. I really do. I think they win 3 more games. I think they win 3 more games last year if the defense was just mid-pack. At least 3. So, I mean, Jerry's just saying, man, if we'd have played a lick of defense. Boy, to hear Jerry Jones say that is crazy to me, boy. This man just blew Matt Eberflus out of the water. Man. J. Lou, boys, I agree with you. I still feel we need another pass rusher and a linebacker. I agree with you. Because, J. Lou, I think it makes the draft even that much more flexible. I think it makes the draft that much more flexible. You go and get another linebacker and an edge rusher, you literally can say, hey, man, we're going to make a swipe at Sonny Styles. Let's see if somebody will take a 12 and a third round pick to get some. Let me tell you something. If I'm the Cowboys, I would not give up both first round picks in this draft. But I'll tell you what I would be willing to do. If I were the Cowboys, to get Sonny Styles, who I truly believe Sonny Styles is a generational talent. I really believe Sonny Styles is a generational talent based on what I've seen. I would be willing to give up a 12, a third this year, and I'd be willing to give up the first round pick next year. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be willing to give up a first, and a third for Sonny Styles. I really believe he's a generational talent. And I don't think you throw that word around often. But when you look at the tape of him in college, when you look at the measurables at the combine, and when you, no pun intended, but when you combine those two things, I'm sorry, I had to go get Sonny Styles if I could. A first, and a third. 12 this year, first next year, third this year. I'd go get Sonny Styles. I would. Jeremy Betts. I mean, hey, man, if you start out bowling in the gutter, where can you go but up, Jeremy Betts? I agree with you. You can't go nowhere but up. Dominique Pittman said, clowning the dude he hired is weird. You might as well clown yourself, Jerry. Hey, I'm going to give him credit, though. Because he did fire him quickly. He fired him quickly, boy. I thought he was going to play around. He fired him quickly, boy. He fired him quickly. All right, y'all tell me about Sonny Styles, man. I'm telling you right now, I would be willing to give up a 12, next year's first, and a third for Sonny Styles. I would. Not a 12 and a 20, because I still want to get a pick in this draft, because I still might be able to trade backwards that number 20, get back into the third or the fourth round. So I wouldn't want to give up that. I wouldn't want to give up both of those picks, because I still say you still need more players. But I would love to get a Sonny Styles for 2 first. First this year, first next year, and a third this year. I would definitely do it. But y'all tell me what y'all think. But I thought it was so crazy, man, that Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones said if we would have played a lick of defense, that's one of the craziest. Boy, Jerry Jones went ballistic, man. Yeah, he went ballistic. Yeah. Ice cold, you bowl a 299? Boy, shoot, you serious, aren't you? Shoot, I'd be good to get a 129. Christian Legal said I would. Hey, I'm telling you, I'd do it, Christian Legal. I would look for that opportunity. I would look for that opportunity. All right, so let's get to our next big story, and then everything else will be quick hits, and then we're going to get out of here. But I want you to check out another video that I have not watched, but I kind of know what it's about. So I'm not sure who this guy is, but over here on D Magazine, hold on a second. Let me read Lorenzo Lee. Lorenzo said, no, sir, I'll take Rodriguez just as big. Also ran a 4.4 and plays smarter and gets off blocks better. Now, Lorenzo, the reason why I'm saying I would trade that number 20 pick back, Lorenzo, and that's why I would keep that number 20 pick. I'm going to use that number 20 pick on Rodriguez, because it's being projected that Rodriguez is not going in the first round. So if I were the Cowboys, I could go backwards and go to, let's say, 23 to 25. I could go from 20 to 25, anywhere in between there. I could go back to 25. Get me a third round or a fourth round pick, when I'm gonna try to get me a third round pick, maybe even a second if a team is really desperate. I'm gonna trade back that number 20 pick, and then I'm gonna go get Rodriguez. Then I'm gonna go get Rodriguez, and I'm gonna have Sonny Styles and Rodriguez. That's what I would do. I try to get both of them, because you're gonna get Rodriguez, because he's not projected to go high in the first. So you can get back there and still get him. Yeah, you can get back there and still get him. And I do believe the Cowboys are targeting Rodriguez. Okay, so let's go over here to D Magazine. Not really sure who this person is. Not really sure who this is. I don't know if y'all seen this, but he was talking about how the Cowboys approach free agency. I haven't listened to it yet. But it says the Cowboys were never, ever going to be successful at free agency, and there are a few reasons why. It says Sports Sturm of 1310 The Ticket breaks down why there was little hope that the Jones boys were going to learn how to make deals in the moment or without leverage to fix their historically bad defense. And I haven't watched this video, so it's going to be the first time I've seen it. But without even watching the video, I've been having this same discussion with y'all, that the Joneses don't approach free agency the right way. They don't approach it the right way. I'm not saying that you don't go in and try to find deals, but there's gotta be a player that you just have to understand. I may overpay a couple of million. I'm not saying overpay 10 or 15 million. I think this is where people are missing the point. I'm not making the argument for Max Crosby. What I'm making the argument for is bullheadedness and just saying that if I want a player and you want a player and we're both, and your price is 13 million and my price is 12 million, I'm not willing to go to 14 or 15 million to get that player. I gotta be willing to say that if the price that I'm set, or if the price I'm coming in at is 12 and somebody's willing to pay 13, then I gotta set a threshold to say, this is how much I'm willing to pay, though. I can't go in free agency looking for a player saying, this is all I'm willing to pay. You're never going to get who you want. You're never going to get who you want. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about a player like Jalen Thompson. I'm talking about you're not going to get the Devin Lloyds, the Grays, those types of players. And let's stop pretending that Gray and Devin Lloyd or other players are just big name players who just are commanding big money, but they're not any good. No, these are big time players. Jalen Phillips, for example, he's a big time player that can play. I'm not saying we should have paid Jalen Phillips, but I'm saying though that when you target certain players that that can play in your program, I would love to go ask Christian Parker. I'd love to ask Christian Parker, hey, Christian Parker, what do you think about Cobie Dean in your system? Would you have been willing to pay him an extra couple of $1 million? Would you have been willing to pay Gray a couple of extra million? Would you have been willing to pay Devin Lloyd a couple of extra million? Would you go and trade for Jonathan Grenard? Would you, Christian Parker, go trade for Josh Sweat? Would you, Christian Parker, go trade for Thibodeau? Would you do those things, Christian Parker? But nobody's asking him those things, because Christian Parker still has to operate within the confounds of how the Joneses do business. And that's why I laugh sometimes when I hear all these people saying, yeah, Christian Parker way, Christian Parker system. Does it fit his system? So you're telling me those linebackers didn't fit his system that I just mentioned? Josh Sweat, who's actually played with Christian Parker, you're telling me he don't fit that system? No, I'm going to keep it real. See, we get mad because we want it to be either or. No, it's not either or. All of these things can be true. The Cowboys did a great job so far in free agency so far. But there are still great moves they can make for this team. There are still great moves they can make. Jonathan Grenard is not breaking the bank. Josh Sweat is not breaking the bank. Thibodeau is not breaking the bank. You just have to open the bank. Doggone it, man. You just got to open the bank. Okay, I'm not going to buy polo jeans. Maybe I'll buy Levi Silver Tab jeans. Come on. That's all I'm saying. And we keep trying to make this into the, and we don't have to, we don't have to protect the Dallas Cowboys. No, the Cowboys have done a great job in free agency, but the job is not done. Stephen Jones himself has said, talent acquisition is a 24/7 job. Stephen Jones said, my goal is to have the best roster in football. Then if you're going to have the best roster in football, you don't have to break the bank. Just open the bank. And you cannot approach free agency. We got to still work on changing the way we approach free agency. You got to be willing to go in here and get some of these players, man. What do you think Christian Parker felt like when they didn't get those players? What do you think he felt like? When you know, hey, man, this player could really help us be better. Yeah, but they're out of the price range. Why do you think he feels? Hallelujah. He said Jerry Pickett, Jordan. And again, I'm not saying it's about even Devin Lloyd. It's not just about Lloyd. It's about any player that you truly believe that can help your team go to that next level. Go get that player. That's all I'm saying. Go get that player. We got to stop acting like every time there's a player that's mentioned, we're going to break the bank. No, you're not breaking the bank for Josh Sweat. I'm sorry, you're not. You're not breaking the bank for Thibodeau. You're not breaking the bank for him. Even Jonathan Grenard in the grand scheme of things, you're not breaking the bank for Jonathan Grenard. I'm sure the Cowboys could actually trade, because they actually do trades really well. They could probably trade for Grenard and get a great price. Come on, man. Mose Logan, quicker than lightning, I'd give up a third for Josh Sweat. I would. I really would. I'd give up a third for Josh Sweat. He's a proven player. He's played in the Parker system. Yeah, I'd give it up for him. I mean, he would be an asset for you. Demetrius says, G, accept the fact that Stephen Jones doesn't believe in deals unless it is a team-friendly deal, because his motto is, it's the Cowboys you succeed, it is a privilege. I agree. Chanel, and this is still going to my point. See, this is the point that I think people miss in this discussion. I made this same point on X today, Chanel. Just because you get a big name doesn't mean the players that you already have and the players that you've already acquired doesn't mean they're not gonna play well. No. Rather than people thinking in terms of, hey man, yeah, let's just use Josh Sweat, for example. Well, Josh Sweat, he's a big name, and I don't really think Josh Sweat's gonna break the bank. But imagine this. You get Josh Sweat. You've already got Rashawn Gary. You got Jalen Thompson. You got Demarion Overshown. You got Quinnen Williams. You got Kenny Clark. You got James Houston. I mean, you got some talent now around. You got some talent, and a really good talent who could possibly be a dominant talent, as in a Josh Sweat. Because not only will Josh Sweat make what you've done in free agency, what you already have, you're only giving up a third for, let's say, a Josh Sweat. And then you still got a 12 and a 20. And who knows, you could hit on Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. You could hit on anybody that you may want at number 12. You get Rodriguez with that number 20 pick. And you add that all in with Josh Sweat and everything you've done. Explain to me how much better you are. Man, you're so much better. You're so much better. Rather than saying, we got to get first round picks and bring them and put them and plug them immediately, and make them be impact players. Nah, we don't have to do that. You go out there and get a couple more players, you can let them be situational players as you work them into those starting positions, knowing that you got some of these players on 1 and 2 year deals. We act like we're subtracting if we go out there and get a player like a Josh Sweat. No, you're adding. You're adding. Chanel says Sonny Styles is not better than Bailey. I'm sorry. I will tell everyone that, G, I'm sorry, but you're wilding. Man, I don't know. I think Sonny Styles is a generational talent. I really do. But I'm not going to cry if they get either one. But I really think that Sonny Styles is going to be a generational player, especially with the Cowboys. I think he's going to be I think he'd be a generational player. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to D Magazine and listen to this guy talk about the Cowboys and how cheap or how they approach free agency. Let's put it like that. I haven't listened to it, but let's check it out.
To be frank, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think hardly anything's been fixed on defense.
Right.
How do you read what's happened?
Well, I read it as the very same reason they sat out free agency for 13 years is the same reason they're very bad at free agency.
Yeah.
And just to elaborate a little bit, they don't like losing leverage at the table. And when you participate in free agency, you have no leverage.
I haven't even heard this interview, but this is exactly what I've been talking about. When you go into free agency and you're going to get that impact player that you want, you're not going in there trying to devalue that player. You're not going into that player saying, yeah, man, I'm going to make a deal. No, you go to that player full well know what you're paying. You go in full well knowing what you're paying and understand that you may pay $1 million, a couple of million, or maybe $3 million over even what you want to pay if you want to beat a team out.
I mean, it is the phone call scene in Jerry Maguire where you are on the phone and they are making you make a big decision. You know, it could be $100 million decision on this phone call. You do not have time to go get lunch. You do not have time to go for a walk and clear your head and think about it, and we'll meet here and then we'll meet again. Gentlemen, if you were not meeting in the build-up to free agency, that's on you. You've got to know you've got to have one point man, not a committee. You got to have one guy that can pull the trigger, which is, of course, why so many of us want a general manager at some point, as opposed to the game of dress-up that we play.
Seems like a spreadsheet might be helpful, and I can't imagine them opening one spreadsheet.
No, and I think, honestly, what they probably do is they set valuations on all these players, which very smart, right?
Yeah.
How much are we willing to pay for Cobie Durant? How much are we willing to pay for this guy or that guy, Jalen Phillips? And the problem is, if you haven't participated in free agency ever, we know what their first bid looks like when they have all the leverage.
Again, this is the exact scenario. You don't actually have leverage in free agency. That's not the point of it. Do we not realize when you're talking about the top 100 players in free agency, I'm talking about the top 100. Typically, especially if you're in that upper 30 of the top 100 players, it's the players with the leverage. They're the ones with the leverage. They've played their butt off. They've performed at an elite level. You don't have the leverage. You don't approach the top 10 of any position in free agency on day 1 and day 2 of legal tampering. You don't approach them talking about, hey, let me tell you why you're not worth what you're asking for. Well, you out of here on that player. You're out of here. Those top 30 players, the upper echelon players, they're not listening for anybody saying what they're not worth. Their agents are already telling everybody what they are worth, and don't you step your butt up here unless you're willing to pay what we're worth. The Joneses, they do well when it comes to trading because they have leverage. They do well when it comes to their free agents, their own players. They do well. Why? Because they have leverage. You want to know why the Cowboys still have you want to know why the Cowboys still have Brandon Aubrey? They have leverage. You want to know why they still have George Pickens? They have leverage. This is the way the Cowboys like to operate, from a position of power. But in free agency, the upper echelon players, they're the ones operating with the power. Bottom line. They're operating with the power. They're the ones that's having teams like Max Crosby. Teams are bidding for him. Trey Hendrickson, teams are bidding for him. Jalen Phillips, teams are bidding for you. When you're those upper echelon players, a team that's coming trying to make a deal with you, man, you ain't listening for them. You're not listening for them. You don't step into those forums unless you're ready to pay the price. And even when you're talking about the midway or the mid-pack players, you're not approaching them like that either. You're not approaching them like that either. No. The only players that you're approaching like that is players who may be coming off injuries, players who didn't play. They were first rounders and they didn't quite live up to the billing of where they were drafted. Case in point, we brought a lot of those players in last year, didn't we? It's like we're easing our way into free agency. Jalen Thompson, understand, that's the most we've paid a free agent in a long time, if I'm not mistaken. But after Jalen Thompson, understand, Rashawn Gary was a trade. Well, the Cowboys do well in those. I'm going to show you how well they did in the Rashawn Gary trade. It's diabolical how well they did in that. But when it comes to free agents, there's a reason why the Cowboys missed on all of those linebackers. And they were not asking for break-the-bank money. Cobie Dean was not asking for break-the-bank money. He was asking for beat the Raiders money. Persuade me not to go with my homeboy money. James Bowie said, you're absolutely right, but he's injury prone to my point was prone, G, to my point. Take the Seahawks, for example, on defense. They only had 3 Pro Bowlers, is what I'm saying. They just have good, solid players. Oh, I'm not going to disagree with you, but James Bowie, understand something about Seattle, my brother. They did something that we didn't do well. They drafted well. If you go back and look how the Seattle Seahawks hit in the draft, it is insane how the Seattle Seahawks hit in their last 3 drafts. I just don't know if you can hit as good as the Seattle Seahawks did. They barely had any misses. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have had miss after miss after miss after miss. We're starting back over in the drafts now. So we've missed on a lot of drafts. And some of these players that we even have right now, think about it. They're great trades. They're not great drafts. They're great trades. You think about the best players, James Bowie, the best players the Cowboys have on defense. Who are they? Draft picks or trades? Kenny Clark, trade. Quentin Williams, trade. Rashawn Gary, trade. Jalen Thompson, trade. Cobie Durant, trade. PJ Locke, trade. Where are the draft picks? Seattle killed it in the draft. It was a combination of draft picks, and it was a combination of free agency. It was a combination of great coaching. It was a combination. We are not hitting on all of those cylinders. We're not hitting on all those cylinders. And we got to learn how to hit on all those cylinders. And one of those cylinders have got to be free agency. And they still played in free agency. Sam Darnold immediately paid off in free agency. He wasn't the best quarterback in the league, but they still went out there in free agency and they paid that money. DeMarcus Lawrence, not the best player in the league, but they still paid him a significant amount of money, and definitely way more than we were going to be willing to pay him. Definitely way more than we were going to be willing to pay him. But the Seahawks went out there and paid that money. The Seahawks didn't bust the bank, but they did exactly what I'm saying that the Cowboys should do. Don't bust the bank. Open the bank. Open the bank. That's all I'm saying. You just got to open the bank. All right, let's check out the rest of this from this guy on D Magazine. I think he's hitting on something. He's not even saying Cowboys should be out there busting the bank. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that the Cowboys have a way of approaching free agency that doesn't make sense. You don't approach free agency telling players why they should take pay cuts to play for you. This is not what free agency is about. Free agency is about guys who have performed at a high level. Let's not confuse big names with big money like these players aren't playing well. No, they're in that position because they played their butts off. They performed. And so now it's time for them to get paid. They're not there listening for somebody saying, you know, you're not worth what you're asking for, right? Man, you're not even listening to somebody talk like that.
Because we see it all the time. Yeah. We see how Brandon Aubrey sees his first bid. We see what Micah Parsons thought about his first bid. We see Dak Prescott. I mean, the list is so long. And in every one of those negotiations, which are painfully slow and frustrating and often end in divorce, what happens is they are comically lowballers because
that's what they do.
See, he's making a point. He's saying that when the Cowboys come into negotiations, they're lowballing. This is what he's saying. They're lowballing. That's not how you approach free agency. That's not how you approach free agency. You come in and you make a good offer. You don't have to make the best offer. Make a good offer. Cowboys do what some people do in negotiations. They lowball because they first want to see where you are. No, you don't play like that in certain markets. If you're not willing to play the market, don't come into the market. Stay outside. Stay outside. You wait until the big shoppers are done, and then when the leftovers are there, now you can come in. Because now we're having a fire sale. You can come in now. It's just like an auction, man. They'll tell you, man, hey, if you're going into an auction and you don't want to spend, hey, this ain't your day. Why not? This is where the big time cars are going. This is where the Escalades, this is where the Mercedes-Benzes, this is where the Hummers, this is where the Ferraris, this is where the Bugattis. We're auctioning off those cars today. And based on what you told me you want to pay, you might need to wait until we get to, maybe we get into the Toyotas. There's nothing wrong with a Toyota. But you don't go looking for a Mercedes-Benz with Toyota money. You go looking for a Mercedes-Benz with Mercedes-Benz money.
Man, or whatever you are, whatever. I like to get bargains. Just the principle, just the joy of the fight. I like to think I won a negotiation. You're not going to win in free agency.
What did Jerry say in The Gambler? He loves the negotiation. What did Stephen Jones say? Jerry likes that stuff. He likes the thrill of it. Got to realize Jerry is a businessman. I always like to negotiate. But, man, there are some things, and Jerry knows this himself, man, there are some things you just don't negotiate on.
You're going to overpay. So the question is, do you want to participate or do you want to feel good about you never lose leverage? Mm-hmm. That's the simplest reason they don't participate in free agency is they don't want to feel like the agent who claims the Bengals just offered this and the Jaguars just offered this. Do you want the guy or don't you? And they're like, man, we were planning on paying Cobie Durant like $9 million. Yeah, that's not in this conversation. The conversation is $12 million. Yeah. So I'm going to need you to either get to 12 or even go to 13 if you really want him. Yeah.
We are about to.
Now, powerful point about Cobie Durant. Powerful point about Cobie Durant. Powerful point. If the Cobie Dean's price is $12 million, don't enter the conversation with $9 million. You're just not in the conversation. Don't come in this conversation. Don't do it. This is the part that's painful for the Cowboys. And they just gotta, I'm gonna put it like this too. I'm gonna put it like this. Because I keep hearing people say, let Christian Parker do this. Let Christian Parker do this. Let him do that. Let him make this decision. So I'm going to ask anybody here that, what do you think? Y'all tell me, because I'm telling you now, for everything that we're saying about Christian Parker, he still has to operate within the way the Joneses do business. So anybody here think that Christian Parker said that, oh, yeah, that's too much money for Cobie Dean? Do we think he said that's too much money for Gray? Do we think that whoever they were looking at, do you think he thought it was too much? This is what he's working with. And I'm not telling you that I'm not trying to destroy the Cowboys, but I'm telling you they do well where they have leverage. They do well with trades. They do well with players that they're dealing with franchise tags. We're all applauding them the way they're dealing with Brandon Aubrey. We're applauding them the way they're dealing with George Pickens. We're applauding them with the way that they got these trade deals done. Yeah, we're applauding them in 2 of the 3 ways that you build a team. But the third way you build a team is free agency. And there are players in free agency that you're going to overpay for. And the Cowboys are saying that what we're not willing to do is that we're not willing to overpay for anybody in free agency. It's like they're saying they're not willing to overpay for anybody. And the only reason why the Cowboys overpay for players sometimes, it's the very players, and let's go full circle, it's the very players that they're trying to get the deal on are the very players that tend to bite them in the end. Because that player that they get the deal on, coming off an injury, ex-first round player, got some kind of quirk going on where the Cowboys say we got a deal on him and we're going to be able to get this out of him that nobody else can get out of him. And those are the players that tend to burn the Cowboys. But again, you have to understand, man, it's a gamble no matter what. No matter what. If somebody says a player don't turn out, well, a player don't turn out. For every player that don't turn out, there are players that do turn out. All right. Let's get these quick hits real quick. I'm going to read some of your comments, and then we're going to get the quick hits, and then we're going to get out of here. Bass said, no wonder we don't sign any big names. What's up, Bass? It's true. It's true. And I think some of us are making the wrong arguments because some of us are applauding them. Well, I applaud them for not overpaying in certain situations. I didn't want the Cowboys to give up 2 first-round picks and a player for Max Crosby. No, I didn't want them to do that. But if you're telling me that you could give up a first and a second next year like the Cowboys had on the table for Max Crosby, yeah, do it. Yes, do it. You got outbid on that one. But there are other players out there right now that you won't have to break the bank on, and you can still go out there and get those players. You don't have to break the bank. Just open the bank and do what you got to do. Rena Zanguini said, man, Cowboys have an advantage about the taxing policies in Texas. That too. We should be able to win more bidding competition in the NFL. No doubt about it. Angie, you just said a mouthful. This is the part, Angie, that nobody's talking about. No matter what we're saying about Christian Parker, he's got a budget he's got to operate under, and he don't control that budget. And Angie, you're right. They gave him a small budget. They're basically told Christian Parker, and I said this before, that they are basically telling Christian Parker, we got a lot of great players that were injured last year we think you can do well with. We got some players already on the team we think you can do well with. We're going to get you a couple of players in free agency that we think you can do well with. We're not going to break the bank. And then we're going to get you some draft picks that we think you can do well with. And we are wanting you to do well with those. And I'm starting to wonder, depending upon what the Cowboys do going forward, are the Cowboys saying, in a sense, hey, Christian Parker, this is what we're going to give you. Can you get this to around 20-ish? Can you get this to around 20-ish? So if you can get this to around 20-ish, then next year you can get this into the teens. You know, maybe you can get it in the 15 or below. Maybe you can get it between 10 and 15. And then we'll really make a ferocious run in 2027. But if you can get us in the 20-ish, maybe you can get us in the 19 or 18, our offense is good enough, they'll pick up the rest. And because our offense is good enough and the defense will be good enough, as Jerry said, if the defense would have played a lick of defense, we'd make a playoff run. So maybe Jerry is saying, with everything that we're giving you, even though it may not be exactly what you want, if you can get it to a certain level, we have Rain Dakota Prescott, JCT Slice, and we can make that playoff run because we got Dak, we got CD, we got George, we got Javonte, we got Jake Ferguson, Ty Booker, Cooper Beebe, Ty Smith. We got those players on offense that if you can just work with the players that we give you and get them to this point, we can make a playoff run and possibly get into the Super Bowl. I think that's what they're saying. But it's still, guys, this is the progress of the process. The Cowboys could shock us all tomorrow. They could shock us all tomorrow and go out there and get whoever. So again, you know, people start to get all in their feelings when you start having these conversations because they're like, oh, you're saying the Cowboys ain't going to do nothing else. Never said that. I think they are going to do something else. They haven't done it yet, but I got faith that they are going to do something else. But if they are ever listening to any of us talk and they're ever listening to me talk, I would definitely like to say what I would want them to hear to encourage them to do more. Give Christian Parker more because they seem to be really putting a lot of trust and faith in what Christian Parker is going to be able to do, as if he may be able to even overcome some of the shortcomings of some of the players that he didn't get. All right, so I want to show you something else that I came across the other day in doing some of the searches on X and just looking at things that people are posting from day to day. Somebody posted the top 10 rosters. The top 10 rosters in football. Does anybody think we're in the top 10 rosters in football? Even though this is somebody's opinion, does anybody think we're in the top 10 rosters in football? Somebody put together a list. The Bleacher Report. The top 10 rosters in football right now. So they could do something else, but right now, top 10 rosters in football. Based on what we've done in free agency, does anybody think we're in the top 10 rosters in football? And this goes to the point of what I'm asking about how much better. Better is relative. Am I better than what I've been? Yes. But am I better than my competition? That becomes the question because that is what's going to help us win games. So here are the top 10 rosters in football, according to the Bleacher Report. The top 10 rosters in football: Rams, Broncos, Bills, Eagles, Seahawks, Lions, Bears, Texans, Chargers, 49ers. Those are the top 10 Bleacher Report teams in top 10 rosters in football. Now, this is why I say, when you ask, are we better? Yes. But the question isn't, are we better in a vacuum? Are we better compared to our competition? That is the question that is yet to be answered. But as of today, I want you to look at this. Notice the division these teams are in. Rams, NFC. Eagles, NFC. Seahawks, NFC. Lions, NFC. Bears, NFC. 49ers, NFC. Now, if I'm counting right, this is just the top 10 rosters right now. You're telling me, do y'all realize that every one of those teams, with the exception of one, every one of those teams that they mentioned that have the best rosters in football, they're all teams that went to the playoffs in the NFC. Jerry said had we played a lick of defense, we'd have made a playoff run, which I don't doubt we would have been in the playoffs. But look at this. We still got to deal with this team. And they're still trying to get better. They're still out there trying to be aggressive in free agency. The Rams, the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Seahawks. They are going to be a problem. And I got news for us. So are the 49ers. The 49ers are going to be a problem. I'm not as much worried about the Eagles because we pretty much own the Eagles, so I'm not as much worried about them. The Rams, the Broncos, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. And the Lions beat us last year. But the 49ers got Oso Digizua. And they're aggressively out there trying to get better. I'm telling y'all right now, we got our hands full. We got our hands full. And this is why we need to do more on defense. Dak needs a defense. Dak Prescott needs a defense. He absolutely does. And as of now, we're not in the top 10 rosters in the game. We're not. We're not in the top 10 rosters in the game. Am I overly concerned about it right now? Nope. We got all the way until the first game of the season to get there. But what I want us to do is get there. This is the progress in the process. I want us to get there. I really want us to get there. I do. Chanel said Dallas made a competitive similar contract offer to free agent Cobie Durant. Yeah, I remember that. And he chose his homeboy he chose his homeboy over the Cowboys. But Chanel, I just wonder what that says about us. What does that say about us? That you would think that the Raiders, who had traded away Max Crosby, released Geno Smith, bringing in Mendoza, your gut feeling, you chose the Raiders over the Cowboys? Isn't that concerning? Does anybody not find that to be concerning? Somebody said this earlier. I forgot who it was. But I do think that some of these players might not want to play for the Cowboys. No, I understand that too. Sebastian Shaw said last 3 Super Bowl winners, NFL number 1 defense and number 2 defense. That's a bar the Cowboys can't reach right now. Yeah. You know what, though, Sebastian? I think the Cowboys can reach it if they make some more moves. I think it's going to be hard for them to make some. I think it'll be hard for them to reach that if they don't go out and just if they stay where they are and then just go do what they do in the draft. I think it's going to be harder. But I do think that they believe they can defy the odds. I think they feel like they can do what the Kansas City Chiefs did. The Kansas City Chiefs is one of the only teams that we know of over the last, 20 years that has won the Super Bowl without a top 10 defense. They did it without a top 10 defense, if I'm not mistaken, because of Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and that offense. And maybe Jerry is saying that he thinks that, and again, the only quarterback that's been better than Dak Prescott over the last few years is Patrick Mahomes. The only thing Dak doesn't have is the playoff wins and the Super Bowl wins. And one of the reasons why is Dak hasn't had those kind of teams and coaching around him. So, Freddie says, while Jimmy Johnson did win back-to-back Super Bowls for the boys and while Dallas won a Super Bowl with his players, even though he was no longer coaching, that ruined our fan base. I don't think it ruined the fan base. I do think it has heightened the expectations of the fan base. Definitely, it's heightened the expectations, and it's probably, Freddie, probably not an apples to apples comparison per se, because there was no free agency at the time. But that still shouldn't stop the Cowboys from doing a little bit more in free agency. They did a great job. They're getting better. It's like they're learning to do this. Another quick hit. I was pulling up the top 10 backup quarterbacks in the league. Has anybody seen this? Top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I wonder where Sam Howell fits in that now. I really do. I wonder where Sam Howell fits in that with the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, let's see where he fits in there with the top 10. I wonder where Sam Howell would fit in this now. I'm actually tripping that they got, I don't know who made this, FanDuel Sportsbook, to have Justin Fields at number 3. Come on, man. I need to compile this list on my own. Wait a minute, hold on, man. Who made this list, man? J.J. McCarthy, number 9? Come on, man. Justin Fields at number 3. J.J. McCarthy, number 9. Anthony Richardson, number 8. Come on, man. Man, I'm struggling with that list right there. Okay, I apologize for even bringing this list. I saw it, but I didn't look at it all the way. Come on, man. The top 10 NFL backup quarterbacks. Nah, I gotta do some more looking at that right there. I'm struggling hard with that right there. I think Sam Howell, though, I think he may be a good backup quarterback for the Cowboys. Especially if he don't play. I'd love for it. Because like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about no backup quarterback. Same thing I said about Joe Milton last year. I don't want to hear nothing about no backup quarterback. They're the backup quarterback. Frank Lawrence said, purchase of America's team with the largest fan base established. Jerry's team now roughly worth $13 billion. Elevating the Joneses' net worth to an estimated $17 to $20 billion, where he gets off cheaping out. Yeah, but you got to realize, Frank Lawrence, see, Jerry has got a lot of his deals through leverage, and, Jerry makes money through leverage and all of those things. It's different in football. You can't, everything, just got to accept sometimes in this game, you're not going to have leverage all the time. And sometimes you just got to go get that player. Earl Jones said they watched D-Law go win a chip with another team year one. Players talk. Yeah. And I'll tell you something, Earl Jones. Let me tell you something. I don't think a lot of people may not realize it, but I think also Diggy Zua, he may be the next player that we see leave the Cowboys and win a Super Bowl. I really do. I think he's going to be the next player that we see go win a Super Bowl. I do. San Francisco, they've always kind of been there, and they are trying their best to get there, man. They are trying their best to get there. All right, let me give you another quick hit here. Now, let me show you an example of where the Cowboys do well. When it comes to trades, the Cowboys, man, they just do a bang-up job when it comes to trading for players. They do a bang-up job, man. Look at this. Look at this thing they did with Rashawn Gary. I don't know if y'all seen this, but the Cowboys were able to convince Rashawn Gary to take a $10 million pay cut. They do a great job with this kind of stuff. They just do a great job. Before the restructure, $41 million. After the restructure, $32 million. Guaranteed money before the restructure, $0. after the restructure, $16 million. Cap hit in 2026 before was $19.5 million. Cowboys got that to $5.5 million. They do so well on these trades. And the reason why the Cowboys do so well on trades is because they have the leverage. They have the leverage as in the player is probably going to get cut and is probably going to lose money if he gets cut. So the Cowboys can use that leverage, bring him in, give him a couple of more years, some more guaranteed money, because that's the key in this deal. This player now has guaranteed money. Cowboys did a great job with Rashawn Gary. Did a great job. Absolutely great job, man. They did. They did a great job. They also did this. To another player. They did this to another player. Let me see. Terrence Steele, I believe. Cowboys. When they have the leverage, the Cowboys are great negotiators. They got Terrence Steele. Why? They had the leverage. Total remaining value, $46.5 million. Guaranteed money, $0. Cap hit in 2026, $18 million. After the restructure, this is a $13.5 million pay cut. They do well on these things. Guaranteed money. And the way they did it, $22 million in guarantees. Cap hit $8.7 million. Great job by the Cowboys. They do a great job when it comes to these pay cuts and how they negotiate in trades. They do a great job. Now, we're about to see if they do a great job in free agency, because I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's still kind of shaky out there right now we're going to see what happens with Brandon Aubrey. We're going to see what happens with George Pickens. We don't know if any one of these players are going to be willing to do anything in training camp. We really don't. So we're going to see how all of this turns out. But, Mike Fisher seems to be of the opinion that the Cowboys are going to extend both of these guys, and we'll see when it is. I hope it's sooner than later. Rod Curry said, "Gee, there are 4 ways, and the 4th is signing your star players early instead of dragging out negotiations." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you. There's 4 ways to play. I forgot about that. Yep, signing your star players early. That's a way. Free agency. Trades. You're right. That's one of the ways to play. Sign those players early. And that leads me to why, when you think about players and free agency, and I wonder how this is going to continue to play out for the Dallas Cowboys, because this is something that could literally scare people away from the Cowboys. When you look at this Oso Digizua deal, when you look at this Oso Digizua thing, I just wonder how players look at stuff like this. Oso Digizua took a pay cut to stay with the Cowboys, only for the next year for Oso Odigizua to be traded. And not only did he get traded, Oso Digizua gets traded to a team where the state tax is literally insane and is possibly going to go up. That is crazy work. This is one of the reasons why. If you don't understand why players are trying to get this money, that while they can, you're not understanding the business side of it. You're just not understanding the business side of it. You can stay in Dallas. You can take a pay cut and stay in Dallas for the income tax advantage, the state tax advantage, the cost of living advantage. And you can wake up the next year and the Cowboys do exactly what they did to Oso Digizua. Now, I'm not telling you that I see a problem with the Cowboys letting go or trading Oso Digizua. That's the business. But I'm also saying this is why players have to say, man, I gotta take care of myself on this, because it's no guarantee. It's just no guarantee that what I'm signing is going to hold up all the way through this contract. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So that's why I entitled this, man, hey, when the next time you see players out here trying to get their money, I know we say, oh, well, that's the business. Well, they're saying that's the business too. They're saying that's the business too. And because it is the business, they're saying, man, pay me my money. Because next year isn't guaranteed. You could get a brand new defensive coordinator next year, and you could just say, no, man, you don't fit no more. You don't fit the system no more. So now we're going to pay, now we're going to trade you. And now we're going to let taxes in California eat up large amounts of your money. Man, I just wonder if Oso Digizua is thinking, maybe I should have tried to go to the Washington Commanders. I could have got more money. I'm just telling you, man, when you start looking at what some of the decisions that these players make, don't think they're just making these decisions because they don't like the Cowboys or they're running after money and stuff like that. No, I think some of this is because of exactly what just happened to Oso Digizua. And I think this is one of the things that may have teams sometimes looking at us kind of, right now, Aubrey and George Pickens. We don't even know how this is going to play out yet. We don't. Rena Zanguini said Aubrey should have been signed a year ago at least. And Rena, I think one of the problems is the Cowboys came out there throwing, okay, what's the highest paid player? Okay, we'll give you $100,000 more than them. He said no. Pro Car Care says, sorry for a late response to your conversation. He says, do you think Michael Port sought on the Cowboys by talking to a linebacker that went to the Raiders, which caused Dean to... Ooh, yeah, you know what? I think I thought about that, but in my old mind, I forgot about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could be right. Could be right. Michael Parsons could have said, hey, man, you don't want to go there. Could be right. Because as Chanel kind of talked about, I'm still wondering what this feeling is Nakobe Dean had. Shoot, what's that feeling? Bear said he wished the TV networks would kick the Cowboys out of prime slots because we never compete. That would tick Jerry off, maybe prompt him to get it together. It ain't going to happen. Because they know that the reason why they got those TV deals is because of Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Angie said, no team is really your family is how you should have to look at it. Angie, you said a mouthful. You just said a mouthful. For as much as the Cowboys say they want George Pickens, still got him on a franchise tag, and nobody knows if they're even going to extend him. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if they're going to trade. Nobody knows what they're going to do. So when you're dealing with this, man, you just got to do what's best for you. You just got to do what's best for you. C. Burleson said, get all your money, take no pay cut. Yeah, I'm like, get your money, man. I love Cowboys. I love the NFL. But if I was advising a player, man, get your money. Christian Legal, me too. I got so much respect for George Pickens too. Man, he's been quiet, and that's the way he ought to keep it. Just stay quiet. I agree. Pro Car Care said, Will McClay said, we are drafting to develop team, but where's the proof? It's not there. Rod Curry said, trust the process. And that's why, again, Rod Curry, I'm telling people, man, this is the off season. Man, people got to stop thinking that you're negative because you're just zeroing in on the process. You want to check the progress of the process. You do this, man, this is life. The progress in the process. That's life. Period in the story. It's life, man. And we get mad about it. This is the offseason. It's nothing to get mad about. Nobody's saying the Cowboys are not going to do more. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that we're not confident in the Cowboys. I mean, some of y'all might be. But we're not saying we no longer like the Cowboys. No, we're not saying any of those things. It's going to be a long offseason. There are going to be a lot of conversations to be had. The Cowboys, as I said earlier, the way you keep changing people's minds is you keep changing people's minds. And the way you keep changing people's minds is you keep doing things differently. You keep making progress. You keep doing things better. And that's how you gain the trust of everybody. That's what you do. That's what you do. Rico Love, he said, how much cap we got left? Well, I think we don't have as much left, but I think we got another couple of moves left in us. We still haven't done the Quinnen Williams move. We got another move in us. We got the Quinnen Williams move. So the Cowboys still got to do that. They got to extend him. There are still moves to be made. But I think the Cowboys, I just think they still got a couple of moves in them. And I think the thing that we're going to have to keep our eyes on, Doomsday, what's going on? He said, last year we hit on the picks, though, and I think we hit this year. Doomsday, I think we hit on one pick so far. We don't know about Izaraku. We don't know about Savon. We don't know about Savon. We don't know about Jay Toya, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, Shamar James. We don't know yet about those players. I think we may have hit on, but I'm not sure yet. But I do think we're on the way to start having some good drafts, and I think we're going to have another good draft this year. I agree with you, but I still say it's yet to be seen. But I'm still high on the Cowboys. I got a feeling that the Cowboys are still going to make some moves. And one of the things that's got me thinking that the Cowboys are still going to make some moves. Man, I don't know if y'all have been listening to this whole Max Crosby thing. This Max Crosby thing isn't over. This Max Crosby thing isn't over. I'm not sure if the Raiders are sold or going to keep Max Crosby the way people think they are. I'm not sure. And the way people are starting to talk about Max Crosby, I'm telling y'all, man, do not be surprised. The Cowboys did this last year. Do not be surprised if a Max Crosby deal is done on draft night. Don't be surprised. The Cowboys did the same thing with George Pickens. They circled the block and they came back and got George Pickens during the draft. They had already talked. They talked about it earlier, I believe in free agency or somewhere in there. And then when the draft came around, they circled the block and they went back and got George Pickens. I'm telling y'all, man, don't be surprised with this dang on Max Crosby thing. I don't think it's over. Whether it be the Cowboys or somebody else, I don't think this Max Crosby thing is over. And I would not be surprised if the Cowboys circle the block and come back and pick up Max Crosby. I'm not going to be surprised. And not only get Max Crosby, but may actually get Max Crosby for less than what they had on the table before. Don't be surprised, man. Because I've been hearing the way that some of these pundits like Jeremy Fowler and others have been talking about this Max Crosby deal. And I think where there is smoke, there is fire. I think where there is smoke, there is fire. I am not going to be surprised if they go get Max Crosby. And no, they're not going to give up George Pickens. Doomsday said, heck no, G, you're right. This Max Crosby thing is definitely not over. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys do not trade for him in the draft because Jerry says team fantasize over those picks. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I think this Max Crosby thing is still alive. As much as I didn't think it was alive before, even if it's not the Cowboys, I think this Max Crosby thing is still, I don't think the Raiders want to keep, I don't think they want to keep Max Crosby. I don't. Bass said it makes sense to me, G, about Max Crosby because the Cowboys were the second runner-up and all that they offered, that was an aggressive offer. They aren't done. I don't buy they're just done. Bass, I'm telling you, just listening to what these other pundits are saying, Yes. Is he back over there with the Raiders? Yeah, he's over there. I don't think they're going to keep him. And I think it's draft night. If he makes it past draft night, I think he may stay. I don't think he's going to make it past draft night. I don't. I'm not going to be surprised if it's draft night and the Cowboys get him. Pro Car Care said we draft a defensive end every year. I think the last one that we hit on was Lawrence. Remember, Michael was a linebacker. Yeah. Man, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure what the Cowboys are going to do this year in the draft because I'm not sure if they're done right now. Catherine the Kid said facts. He said, I'm tired of Trump saying to trade Pickens. No way. Not trading Pickens. No. He's a part of why you can have a mid-pack defense. You trade Pickens, you got to have a top 10 defense. You can't do it without a top 10 defense if you trade Pickens. You literally got to be between 5 and 10. Bass said, and one thing we all know to be true about Jerry Jones, he does not like the answer no. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Jeremy Betts. People got to realize George Pickens is a part of the plan. You can't have a mid-pack defense and have a playoff run without George Pickens. You need George Pickens in that equation. If you give up George Pickens, that requires you to have a top 10 to a top between the top 5 and the top 10 defense, because getting rid of George Pickens is probably going to knock you about 3 steps back as a top, rather than being a top 5 offense. You're going to probably be a late top 10 offense, and that's probably not enough. Pro Car Care, you're right. We don't draft defensive players well. That's why I say trade for him. Bass said, especially with teams knowing he's going to be ready by July. Yeah, I don't think Jerry's going to just back down off that. Man, I'm telling you right now, Dr. Cooper did not tell the Ravens that Max Crosby was not going to be good to go this year. I'm telling y'all unequivocally, he did not tell them that. And the Ravens know he didn't tell them that. He did not tell them that. The only thing he did was tell them, I'm sure, the risk factor. And they said, oh, we're not willing to take the risk. It's just a bunch of bull junk. It's a bunch of semantics that they used to get their 2 first-round picks back and get Trey Hendrickson at a cheaper price. I understand it. It's great gamesmanship. It's a great move on their part. Even though they did sabotage one Max Crosby. He talked about it in an interview. Demetrius said, be careful what you ask for. You might get it and you may not like what you get with Crosby. Demetrius, let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you, though. There are just certain things in life, Demetrius, I'm willing to take those chances. I'll be honest with you. I'm willing to take a chance on Max Crosby. I would be willing to take it. James Bowie said it was phenomenal how the Seahawks draft over the years. James Bowie, I'm going to find that for us tomorrow. I got it in my documents. I just got to find it because I'm going to show us again. Man, people don't understand what the Seahawks did is incredible. The drafts that they had over the last 3 years, it is a thing of beauty. JCT said the media is loosening on Dak, but Dan Orlovsky isn't, and why is that? Well, he did say he believes it's going to be the Cowboys' year. Dan Orlovsky said that. Pro Car Care said if George hold out, will he still be a part of the plan? Because last year Jerry got mad with Micah in his old age and he didn't hide his anger well. Well, I'll tell you this. George has got to be, we're going to see. But I'll tell you this, man. George has him in a really Pro Car Care. George has him in the same situation that Michael got him in. Because we got to realize, man, Michael didn't start really acting a fool until after the draft. Michael didn't start acting a fool until he got him in the headlock after the draft. Because if you start doing these things after the draft, well, who do you trade him to? Because a lot of teams, they've already made a lot of moves in free agency. They've got their draft picks. And then they even do some post-June 1st stuff. People start doing some things. So it gets a lot tougher the closer you get to the season to do something with George Pickens. And then he puts you in a headlock if you go out there like Emmitt Smith did in that 1993 season. You go out there and hold out, and then you start losing games, and then he puts you back in a headlock. So Angie said, how can you have more faith in Easy coming off a hip injury versus Crosby knee injury? Angie, you just said a mouthful. We don't know what Donovan Ezra-Rocker was going to be after that doggone hip injury. And if I were the Cowboys, I'd be planning like he's not going to be a starter. I really would. Doomsday, I do think the Cowboys' run defense is going to be way improved because that is the one thing that they are determined to fix, and I think it's going to be way better. I do. They just got to get better at that pass rush. There's no doubt about it. All right, Cowboy fans, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Yeah. Yep. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Great show today. Great chat. Great participation. Man, guess what? We gonna do it all over again tomorrow if God is willing. We're gonna do it all over again. Yeah, Angie, you're right. People be ignoring that. Yeah. That's a great point, Angie. Great point. How do you trust Donovan Ezeraku? Don't know what he's going to be. Don't know what he's going to be, so it's wait and see. But I do think, I'm telling y'all right now, Dr. Cooper did not tell the Ravens, don't get Max. He didn't tell them to not get Max Crosby. He didn't. He did not do it. He read the reports, told them what he saw, and they said, based on what you told us, we're not willing to risk it. In reality, that's not what they said. They said somewhere in the back room, we want our 2 first-round picks back. And we can get Trey Henderson cheaper. They not fooling me. All right, man. I'm out of here. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on video, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow if the Lord is willing. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. DC4L, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.